All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang podcast. This is episode 27 featuring me, aka 1412cc. You guys could see the panel on the top right. On the bottom right, you could see the Twitch handle. And there are two commands for this podcast. Exclamation podcast to get a better understanding of why I'm doing this. And in short, it's to get to know my friends on a more personal level, so other fellow streamers. In this case, we have Ni, again, episode 27. There's the second command, exclamation guest. There's gonna be a link for Ni's channel, so you guys could just click on that. Please drop her a follow. Alright, Ni, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for committing time to this.
For inviting me.
Yep.
In a way.
Alright, here we go, guys. We're gonna get started. So, Ni, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests?
So my username's 1412cc. You can call me CC or you can call me Ni. Up to you. I'll still reply to like whatever you guys call me. Like my hobbies are really weird. Like they change most of the time during the year. Like before I used to really like collecting hats. So I have about like 86 hats and I like collecting shoes at one point. So I have a lot of Converse. But like a hobby, I just like to listen to new music most of the time these days. So I don't spend wasteful money on stuff. And my interest, I don't know, honestly. Just chilling. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous.
No, it's okay. Remember, just take your time. Don't feel pressured, alright? As long as you're relaxed, then we're good.
Okay.
It's okay, it's okay. It's just talking about yourself, so whatever you want to tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good overview. So, let's talk about your personality. How would you like describe yourself?
Honestly, I would like to think that I'm relaxed, but I know I do tend to get like mad at like really like not mad at like people, but like really dumb things. Like if I can't pass this one level or something, you'll visibly hear me like smash my table because I'm just like I'm done with life. I can't handle this. But most of the time, I think I'm pretty chill. I think I'm funny if I want to be. And yeah, I think I'm a good person, but that's up to you. Like I know I can be kind of savage and like I like to gaslight people a lot. Apparently. I didn't know I was really good at gaslighting people.
Interesting. Okay. Would you consider yourself more of an introvert or extrovert?
I think it really depends on the situation. To be honest, like I don't really leave my room unless I have to. Like if I have to go to work, I'll go like groceries or something, I'll leave my room. And if people talk to me outside, like I'll help them like get directions or whatever. I don't really mind talking to other people. Don't mind walking up to them and being like, "Hey, how are you? What's up?" Like I want to talk. But like most of the time, like if nobody wants to talk to me, I will just sit in my own world and just like be like, "Oh yeah, you guys go do whatever you want." Like go live your life. Like I'll live my life, you live your life. Go your way.
Got it. Let's talk about the very beginnings, your childhood. So, kind of give us an overview of what life was like growing up, what your family was like, for example, kind of like when you were born.
Okay, so what my mom tells me is when I was born, I was planned by her. Like, because at that point she was 24, 25, she said. And she had planned to get pregnant with my dad and like give birth to like two kids, like a son and a daughter. And that's like my brother and me. And that's what happened. And so here I am. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's interesting. And like, there are a lot of weird stories in my family, but I'll go into the direction of like, um, when I could remember anything, I was like maybe 4 years old, I think, at the time. I don't actually know, but I remember my dad's face. It was pretty tall and skinny and stuff like that. And I don't know him anymore now because my when I was younger, my mom took me and my brother and left my dad without saying anything to him.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like, to be honest, I didn't understand at the time because I was so young. Because like by the time that I had moved to where I live now, because like I live in Canada, but like we lived on the east side of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But when my mom took me and my brother to move to the west side, uh, I was like, I was at least like 5 or 6 years old, so I could go to kindergarten at that time.
Yeah.
And my mom had told me when she took me and my brother, she was like, "Oh, you guys are gonna go on a family trip without your dad, though, and we're gonna go with this uncle guy." And I was just like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay, sure," because I didn't really think much about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom had left him when I was like about 5 or 6, and I started living here and going to school and stuff around here. And yeah, it was that's just one part of my childhood, I guess.
Yeah, so you said you went from the east side of Canada to your current place, the west side?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I live in well, like I would say it because a lot of people already know, but I live in British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like if you don't know where that is, you should probably just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I used to live in Toronto, where it's like the busiest city. Like it's like right up from New York, basically, they say.
Yeah.
And like I don't remember much in Toronto. And like all I really remember is like where I live now. And even then it was like uh it was like suddenly I had been moved from one place to another place without any explanation, and I didn't realize that, and I just went with it
Mm-hmm.
because I was too young to understand what had happened.
So when did you realize that actually happened, and what was your reaction to it?
I think it took like at least like a few years, like because the uncle I had moved with, um, he he wasn't like he was called an uncle. That's what my mom had told me when we were growing up to call him. But
Yeah.
that was actually my mom's boyfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not married to my dad. So my mom was cheating on my dad with another guy. And I didn't like I'm too young to understand what's happening. And
Of
when we
course.
finally got to British Columbia, like it was great. Like I still remember the ride. Like we were on this bus. It was like the Greyhound bus. It was fun. Like it lasted for days. And like I got to see Science World, which is like this big round building. And I thought it was a big giant soccer ball that giants would kick around. And it was fun. It was great. Like I was just like, "Oh, I love this." And when we settled down in British Columbia, I didn't know what the difference is between a hotel and an apartment. So like the apartment seemed like a hotel, and it kind of quickly churned for the worse because that uncle guy started he started um he started like hitting me and my brother and my mom. So like it took like a really long time for me to process like we had moved and we weren't going back. Like maybe like a few years, like when I was like 10 or 11, because
Mm-hmm.
I actually started fighting with my mom around that age.
I see.
Yeah, that got dark really fast.
Mm-hmm. So what memories do you have of your father? And I'm
Like
assuming you lost contact completely then, right? Since you were so young.
my real father,
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't remember anything about him except for that one memory I had where I was like 4 or something. And even then it's like the memory of it is so shoddy. Like I
Mm-hmm.
know he has like a birthmark here. It's like a little brown little pimple that pops out and it has a hair coming out of it and everything. And he was tall and he's lanky. I always sitting in this big one comfy chair for himself with a cup of coffee, and he never really said much. And like I remember when I was like I think it was 16, I went back to Toronto to visit my auntie and my cousins there. And apparently my dad had talked to my mom or talked to my cousins, and my cousins had talked to my mom. And he was just like, I want to see my kids again. I want to see what they look like while they grow up and all that. And like nobody told me, my brother, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Because this was supposed to be his job to walk up to us and be like, hey, I'm your dad. And I just wanted to see you and talk to you guys. But we were there, and apparently, like, we were going out somewhere, and he was just sitting in a car somewhere. Like, from what I heard from my cousins, he was like sitting in a car, like maybe a block away or half a block away, just sitting in there staring at the house. And he saw me and my brother coming out, but he never said anything to us. And he just saw us get into the car, and then he never
Mm-hmm.
like walked up to us and be like, "Hey, I'm your dad." And yeah, so like we never had contact.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with your brother? Or
My
what was it like back
brother,
then too?
honestly, like with my brother back then, it's just like typical brother sister stuff. Like I would fart on his pillow and then give it back to him.
Mm.
Like I would do like really stupid things. Like I would pull his hair as much as I could because like my brother would always have a buzz shaved haircut. Or I would like throw a pillow at him or something. Now, now it's kind of like passive aggressive. Me and my brother, like now my brother and me are kind of like chill with each other. But when we get into arguments, we get into heated arguments. But when we don't get into heated arguments, we're like a lot of people think me and my brother are married. Like because we're so relaxed with each other, and we treat each other with respect, and we care about each other. And then like we'll go to a Chinese dinner, and then people are like, oh, like my mom will be like, oh, these are my kids. And then they'll be like, oh, those are your kids? I thought those two were married. And then I'm just like, ew, not that, no. Just like I have to babysit him sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I think me and my brother are chill now.
What's the age gap between you two?
um my brother is, if I'm 28, he's 31. I
So he's
should,
the older one. Okay.
yeah, he's the older one out of four of us. Probably should have mentioned there's two more siblings.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, the, like, so my, like, that's why I said it's kind of messy.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had originally got pregnant when she was 16, and she got pregnant two more times. So she had my oldest brother and my sister, but they're like, I think they're like 35, 38. So like technically am the youngest
Yeah.
if I don't want to count my dad's side of the family,
Are you
cuz
in
he had
contact with the older siblings?
um uh like we were estranged until like a few years ago when my grandpa passed away. So I never had met them until my grandpa's funeral.
I see. First meeting.
Yeah, it
That.
was like we were sitting there, and me and my brother were talking, and my mom had apparently told my brother that our siblings were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one guy walked up to us, and we started having a conversation. And then this other girl walked up to us and went like, "Hey, like we're your sister and brother." And I was just like, "Oh," I'm like, "Long time no see, I guess." And so we started talking more, and my sister and me are kind of having a feud right now. Like we aren't on talking terms because she got mad at me for not talking to her enough. And my oldest brother was here in BC for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but he he went back to Montreal, so he's back there now.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. And how about your relationship with your mom and your so-called uncle?
Um. You can just like me, my brother, and my mom. Because like when we were younger, he made us call him dad, but my mom and him weren't technically married. But like it would be suspicious because like there's these two kids running around calling this one dude uncle and he's picking them up all the time. So
I
he
see.
forced us to
Mm-hmm.
call him dad. And so we call him now like our crazy dad because of all the abuse that we went through with him. And like we like after like maybe like 4 or 5 years of going through the abuse, my mom had gotten help. So we never see him anymore because my mom, when she got help, she had like all this evidence against him. There was this law that was put on him that says like you can't see these kids until like you're 18 or until they're like 18 or 21. So
Mm.
like if you go anywhere near them, we'll put you in jail kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I have not ever seen him again since I was like 9 or 8 years old. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
for a really long time. But my mom's relationship and me are pretty good, I think. Like I think out of all the things, like I'm really grateful for my mom, even though we went through all that together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm super grateful for her. And like out of my entire life, I think we've only had like two major fights. And otherwise, like every other fight is like really minor that we can just patch it over in a few minutes because
Mm-hmm.
we've been through it all.
Aside from the abuse from um, that man, how did your mom handle discipline when it came to you guys?
I don't think she did, to be honest. Like, after we got out of the whole thing, the only rule I ever had while growing up was come home before dark. And I even never did that. And because she was like at that point, she's a single mother. She has two kids. She can't afford babysitting or anything. She's working like 4 jobs to even afford rent and food in the countryside, which is crazy. And she had to go work at the city. Like I never really saw her when we were like growing up, basically, because she had like I remember there were nights where my mom would be gone, or there were weeks where my mom were gone for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I wouldn't see her for that long period of time, and there's nobody to like really watch me and my brother because like my mom couldn't afford a babysitter, obviously. And so like I would stay out like all night sometimes. There was one time where I remember I ran away from home and she never even noticed until like um maybe like 5 weeks in, and I came home and she's like, "Where were you?" I was so worried. I'm just like, "Were you really though? Like you didn't even bother like putting like calling 911 or anything and saying like my daughter's missing." Like I was so mad. Like
Mm-hmm.
and like that was probably like one of the major fights that me and my mom had. And like I think we fought for like 2 hours and a half or 3 hours at least that day. And I was like calling her a bad mother and stuff, and I was saying like, why can't you be there? Why can't you like like give discipline to me, and my brother, like other families? Like, how come you can't like sit at home watch TV with us? How come you can't be like um just around? Like, I like one of the reasons I don't really tell people stuff about me
Mm-hmm.
is because like every time I had told my mom when I was younger anything about me, she was too busy to actually hear me. So I tend not to tell people too much because I'm just like I'm too nervous that they'll be like, "Oh my god, like I don't have time for you."
Yeah.
And like I like that's fair. Like everybody has their own life. That's why I'm just like, "Oh, like go for it. Like don't worry about it. Like go live your life."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't say anything too much, and I usually only tell like certain people like what I'm doing with my life and how I'm going and stuff like that. But yeah, like um yeah, yeah, but like yeah, sorry. I don't remember the question anymore.
Oh no, it was we were just talking about like discipline, but I get the story. There's like a deep layer to that with your relationship with your mom.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's it's just there basically was no discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things I learned is just from TV and from video games, which didn't really help with my fashion style sense, that's for sure.
Let's talk about your background and the diversity in your city from where you're at right now. How would you describe it so we could get like a better visual of what you grew up with and around?
Mm, let's see. Like I when we moved, like, cause like we lived in the countryside. Like we first originally lived in the city when we moved here for like a few years, but then we moved out of the city because my mom couldn't afford to rent out a space and stuff like that. So we were living in shelters for a really long time, like for about a year or something. And even then, shelters are only meant for like 2 weeks to like a month. So like we moved about like 13 times in 1 year. And it was crazy because like we wouldn't like my mom still has these rules where like she doesn't want to carry anything heavy, right? So that we I don't have a bed frame. There was no couches in this place before. There was like no like big dressing like wardrobes or anything heavy. Like anything that wasn't essential, like a bed or something or blankets, like we
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't carry it because it was just too heavy. And like we moved like from one place to another in a short period of time. Like sometimes there were times where like I would make some new friends and then I would have to say bye in like a week or two because like we would move to the next place. And so like I guess like I gotten so used to moving and saying goodbye to a lot of things that I'm okay with a lot of people just leaving my life without saying anything. And like if they want to go, they go, but they want to stay, they stay. That's what I say a lot of the times. And like we live in the city now. It's not like the most popping part of the city, but it's like close enough to the city. It's in like the areas where like you can get everything. There's like buses around here compared to the countryside. Like I don't have to walk everywhere, thank God. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we live here for like the last I think like it's been like God, how long was it since I last moved? I think it's been like 8 years since I moved now. Yeah, like the last time I moved was like when I was 20 or 19. And so I don't have to move anymore. Like we own this apartment. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's comfortable. Like some people are like, why don't you buy your own place and move out? And I think it's a hassle because of all the moving. But yeah, like otherwise, the culture that's like raised in this family, it's pretty like a mix of like it's a mix of like Chinese and Vietnamese with some Western style teachings.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mom teaches me like a lot of Chinese and Vietnamese stuff most of the time. But she also incorporates some of the Western cultures things where she's like, instead of like, typical Chinese parents that are like, oh, you have to get good grades, you have to get A's, you have to become a doctor, you have to do this and that. And like, my mom's just like, I don't care what you do, as long as you're happy with what you do and you do well with it. And um, you're not going to be sad and stuff when you grow up and you're working and you're like, I hate my job.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on to like your school life? You could tell stories
Um,
if you'd like. It's totally fine.
stories. I have stories. There's lots of stories. I don't know where to start. Well, I used to have a hamster when I was growing up, when I was about like 12 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
named him Peanut Butter because he was like brown and I loved him a lot. But they're cause like we wouldn't buy like those regular hamster cages. We would just put them in these buckets for them to like sleep in and stuff. We would give them like food and all that and we'd clean it. And like, because they're in a bucket, there's no actual lid. Because if you put a lid on it, the hamster would probably suffocate. Well, okay, the hamster would suffocate if you put it on the bucket. So, like, I remember there was like one night where my uncle was sleeping, and because the room's pretty small, he would kick the bucket, and he kicked the bucket, and then the bucket fell over, so the hamster obviously ran away. And there were times where like this happened so often. Like the hamster at one point, like sometimes I would find him in weird places. Like there was one time I found him with the video cassettes. Yes, I am that old. There's video cassettes. He was in the collection of the video cassettes. And then he was like, there was another time I found him in the washroom, which is a really far walk. But the one time we had to move out of the apartment, there was a hole in the wall, and we never noticed this hole before. And so, because of this hole in the wall, he, like, the last time I saw him was he kicked over the bucket, and then he lived in the hole in the wall for about like 8 months, and he would still be eating the food because I would leave food in front of the hole. And I would be
Wow.
like, I'm gonna catch that
Cool.
hamster one day sooner or later. Because I was trying to lure the hamster out so I could catch it and put it back in its bucket cage thing. And he never like every time I got close, he's so fat, but like he ran so fast, and I was like, "Come back, hamster! Like, don't run!" And then like we had to move out, right? And I'm still trying to catch this hamster for like months. And by the time I had to move out, I just left like a little bit of food left in that hole, and I'm like, "Good luck with your life, hamster. I hope you find food in the next person that lives here." Because we didn't tell them that the hamster was living through the hole in the wall, and I was like, I'm never gonna see that hamster again. Like, so I don't know if it's still alive or dead, but I'm pretty sure it's dead by now. It's been years, but I miss that hamster now. Yeah, I joke about eating my friends' hamsters, but I really do like hamsters. Like, not to eat them, but to play with them and stuff. The hamsters don't like me. They like every time I got a hamster, I've played with them too much that they would actually like viciously bite my finger until I was like bleeding a lot. Like I bled like I think every hamster I got, they bit my finger all the time. And then like I would go to my mom and I'd be like, "Look, there's blood. I'm gushing out blood." And then she'd be like, "What do you do?" I'm just like, "I'm just playing with the hamster. I want it to know me, you know?" I
Mhm.
just love it.
Jeez.
Yeah, like currently right now I'm babysitting one of my friend's cats, and like its name is Mocha or Mocha. It responds to both for some reason. And like my mom really likes the cat. So my mom was sitting in my room one day, and the cat was walking around because she wanted me to call it out, and the cat was just like walking by. And like it went nowhere near my mom, but my mom still got up from my bed and dragged the cat over while it was also rolling over. And I'm like, "Mom, let the cat go. The cat doesn't want to be with you." And she's like, "No, no, the cat wants to be with me. Oh, the cat loves me." And then like I could visibly like I'm just staring at my mom like this, and I'm just looking at the cat's face, and the cat's like, "Let me out. Like, give me freedom."
I like the
And
accent.
yeah,
Being
no,
for your
like
mom.
because like because like like the only time I really get accent is when I talk about my mom,
Hmm.
and like it wouldn't make sense because she doesn't have she speaks English well, but like she doesn't have like like no accent. She still like sometimes stop and stutters on some words
Hmm.
like cuz like my mom, like if she has a chance, she'll force me and my brother to do everything. Like she's like, "Oh, Kenny, come read this document," cuz like my mom can't read like my mom can't read or write. Like the only time she actually knows how to read or write, and this was pretty smart, was when she was filling out all her forms and stuff. She knows where specific parts means what because like she fills it out so often. She knows where to put my name and stuff and my date of birth. And that's how she learned English, just by filling out all these forms like over and over again. She would figure it out very slowly. But like now she knows how to read a little bit. Like it's not like at I think it's not at like a grade 6 level, but it's like at least like grade 4, grade 5 level. But there are times where like there's really big words like mortgage or something like that, and she'll like go like, "What's that word mean?" And I'm like, I would have to explain it. Like I would have to really dumb down the word for my mom to understand what that word means, right? But my brother, when he explains it to my mom, he would just use the term that he sees on Google, and my mom would just look at him and be like, "Huh?" I'd be like, I would have to sit there and I would have to explain it to him. I would have to explain it to her, and she goes, "Ah, why can't you be smart like me?" But my brother's really smart. Like he taught himself like Japanese and everything. It's just my brother, I feel like wouldn't actually like doing anything that he's forced into, but if he wants to do something, he'll learn it. Like he'll learn it way faster than I could ever learn it. But yeah. But yeah, that I feel bad because like the cat has been harassed for like the last 2 days because it's only been
Mm-hmm.
here for 2 days. And my mom picked it up. Like I suddenly learned where my love for animals come from is from my mom and like overbearing them with love. And my mom like picked up the cat by the belly and like swung it around yesterday. And the cat was like visibly going, and I was like, Mom, let the cat go. The cat doesn't like it. I'm just like, Mom, you're lucky this cat doesn't bite or scratch. But she's like, ah, but I have technique. If you grab it by the belly, it can't scratch or bite. And I'm just like, oh my god, Mom. It's like, please.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I have a lot of really dumb stories with my family mostly. Like, my brother has banned me from cutting cheese in the kitchen. Like, real cheese, not like, like letting out a fart. Like, real cheese. He won't let me cut cheese in the kitchen. Because sometimes I get really bored. So when I'm doing something in the kitchen, I'll start making sound effects. And I think I was cutting cheese one day, and cutting cheese is really hard, especially if it's like one of those big blocks of hard cheese. And like it takes like a while to cut through the whole block because like the block is like this big or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was cutting the cheese and I cut through half of it and I was bored, so I started going like, yeah, every time I got the cheese. And then I forgot my brother was home. So he heard it from his bedroom.
Heard
And
everything.
then, yeah, he came over and he was just he was like, "Nee, what are you doing?" And I'm just like, "I'm just cutting cheese." And he's like, "Why are you screaming?" And I'm just like, "I was bored." Like, nobody talked or anything, so I just started doing sound effects. And he's just like, he took away the knife because I finished up, and he was like, "You're never cutting cheese again, okay?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Startled him.
Yeah, cause I guess I think he was just watching a YouTube video, so like I didn't think he would care that I was just going like, "Hiya!" every time I cut the cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of forget he's there. So like I do like a lot of embarrassing things with or without people around. It's just what I do sometimes. And yeah, like, oh my god.
Interesting stories. Love it.
Yeah, I have a lot, but like it's fine. Don't worry about it. Maybe another one will come into mind later.
Yeah, of course. As we progress with this conversation, just feel free to just jump in with stories.
Yeah, don't worry, I will.
Okay, let's talk about school. So you could start off with your elementary years. Give us an overview of what that was like, and you could add more stories.
Elementary school years. Like, um, I remember my first crush in one of the elementary schools I had. I think at that time, like, Pokemon was like a big thing when I was growing up. Like, Burger King was selling like these Pokemon toys, and like there was like, oh my god, there's so much Pokemon like everywhere. Like literally everywhere you turned your head, you would see Pokemon. It was great. I loved that era at that time. So like my auntie Ruby, she had a Pokemon. Like I went to go visit her in Calgary. She had a Pokemon, like a Pikachu, and like it was the cutest Pikachu ever. And like there's a zipper on the back, so you could put stuff into the Pikachu, and it was great. So like I would put like candy or something in it, and sometimes flowers. But then that wasn't a good idea because the flowers would be crushed. And like, because I'm so young, I'd be like, I would take it out and I'd be like, how come the flower is crushed? What's wrong with this Pikachu? Can't carry stuff that are important. And so um after I finished visiting my auntie, I went back and we went to the school, and like I like like when you're a kid, you bring like all your like sometimes you bring your favorite things to school. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that Pikachu so much. I brought that Pikachu to school with me. And then because Pokemon's big, everybody surrounded me and my crush. And he was just like, "Can I play with the Pikachu?" And I was like, "Sure." I remember like I had this friend named Wendy. Like I think it was Wendy. I don't remember her name. I'm pretty sure her name was Wendy. Wendy gave me this ring, like this little like stupid plastic blue ring, and it had a little bear and stuff, and it was really cute. And she was like, "You should go give that to the person you like." And it was like all this really, really romantic notion, right? So I put that ring in the Pikachu, thinking that one day I would give it to my crush. And so when I lent him the Pikachu, I forgot the ring was in there. And like so I was just like I was just like walking around somewhere in the school, and he hunted me down and he was like, "Nee, come here. I need to tell you something." And I was like, this is the moment, because it was like in a hallway, right? It was like this romantic scene where it's like this like nicely dim light hallway. It's not like the creepy like crackhead light kind of thing. Okay. It was like a nice dim light hallway with this guy that I like is running down the hallway begging for my attention. And then I was just like, "What is it?" And then he was like, "Nee, I need you to hold this ring. It's embarrassing because people are making fun of me for having a ring. It's so girly." And I was just like,
Oh
"Oh," I was
shoot.
like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Oh, okay, sorry." And then like I took the ring back and put it in my pocket, and he left and he took the Pikachu. He was like, "I'll return the Pikachu later." And I was just like, "Okay then." And then like he left and I had the ring, and I was like a little bit sad because like my crush is just like it's embarrassing. I'm like, good thing I didn't give him the ring, you know? That would have been
Yeah.
more embarrassing. But yeah, like there there's like I had like a lot of crushes in elementary school. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would like I would like one person for 2 weeks and then it would switch to another person the next time. But once I got like I remember one of my crushes, like I remember like I would burp. Like cause my brother taught me how to burp. Like I can burp without actually having to eat or anything. Like I just drink water and I can do like the loudest, manliest burp you can hear. And it's like gross, right? Because everybody doesn't like hearing that. But I learned it from my brother. And so like I would burp sometimes in class because like I thought that was like a really cool thing to do. And one of the crushes was just like, "Oh, you like when you burp, you have to say excuse me." And then I was just like, "No, I don't want to do that." And then he was just like, "I'm gonna tell on the teacher on you then." And like I was scared of the teacher at that time, so I'd be like, "No, no, I'll do it." But then I had hiccups, and whenever I had hiccups, I would burp. Like it wouldn't sound like "Hic," it would sound like every time I did a hiccup. So he was just like, "You have to say excuse me every time you're burping, no matter what." And I was just like, "That's ridiculous. Like that's stupid. Like it's just a hiccup. Like can't I avoid saying excuse me during that?" And he was like, "No." And like so every time I have hiccups for a really long time, I would always say excuse me. So like if I'm having a hiccup fest, you just hear under my breath, I'll be like, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me." Like I would burp, like I would have hiccups every like few seconds. You just hear
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, and it was like, I was just like, oh my god, I was just like, there are so many like it was just weird um, but honestly, like I don't think like because I moved so much. Like I didn't really make that many friends in elementary school, except for three of them. Like three of them, I made like three really good elementary school friends. I only keep in contact with one of them now, but the other two not really so much. Cause one kind of started like when she started going to high school, she started going more to like doing drugs and stuff. So she actually had an addiction and all that. So she started going to like rehab to get help for that. And I don't really talk to her because from what I remember, yeah, okay. What I remember is the last time I talked to her, she stole all my bus money. I was stuck in the countryside. I was 14 years old. She stole my money so that she could buy Slurpee and put alcohol in it. And like I still haven't really like I don't think she actually knows that she did that to me, where she stole my money and took away the way like my ability to go home. Like I had to talk to one of my other friends and ask her for bus fare money because like, I'm only like 13 or 14, so I've never actually had a job at that point or at all. So I have no income, no money, and that was like my only way going home. And I spent the rest of the money on like stupid junk food. And so I never really forgave her. So when she started talking to me again, I was like giving her attitude, and she noticed right away I was giving her attitude. And she's like, "Whoa, what's this all about? Why are you giving me attitude?" And I was just like, "Well, like that time when you were like this and that, you stole my bus money. I was really mad." And like she never replied back, so I never really got the chance to get her to apologize or anything. But I maybe I should forgive her, but I don't know honestly. Um, my other friend, the other one I don't talk to, she she got pregnant at like the age of 15, and she continued to get pregnant about like like 6 more times, so she has like 7 kids or something,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the same age as me. So she's 28, right? And I'm 28. And sometimes I'm just like, if people complain about me not having a kid, I'm just like, I'll just take one of her kids, you know? Like she has enough for the whole world to go around. I think currently right now she's only taking care of like 3 of her kids, and one of her aunts from like the first guy got her pregnant is taking care of one, and the other 2 are an adoption, and then the other one is taken care of by her mom and her dad's. That's an interesting story. That's not meant for me to say. But yeah, like she has many, many kids. And the last time I talked to her, I think I was like 16, and she was asking me for money for baby formula powder. And like, I think like she asked me for like, I think it was like 16 bucks or something. And I only had like 20 bucks in my bank account because I was 16. Like, I still wasn't working at that time. And I told her no, because like that's a lot of money to me. Like if I'm where I'm at now, I probably wouldn't mind giving her 16 bucks. But that's a lot of money for me as a 16-year-old, especially because like that was my bus fare money. That was like for me to eat for the next 2 weeks. Like I had to really think about like what I had to do around the house with that money. And so like I told her no, and I think she still holds a grudge against me for not giving her that money because she needed it at the time for a pack of smokes and some baby formula. And I was just like, yeah, like I think she still hates me for that. But like we have talked because like I still talk to my other elementary school friend Emily, and like she's hosted parties with her there, and then I won some sort of gift or something playing bingo because I just really wanted to win bingo for some reason. And then I told her she can have it because I'm probably not gonna use it. And she told me thanks. And then after that, she never really talked to me again except to get me into a pyramid scheme, which I probably wasn't really that into. Because she was like saying like, oh, hey, like I noticed that you were doing this thing. Like, do you wanna like start up an online business with me, and I'll teach you the ropes, and I'll teach you how to wheel in other people to buy your stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting there like, sometimes I feel like I will do really good in that kind of job, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'll do that good at the job because I cannot put my head around like wanting to talk to people, which is why I say sometimes if I have to talk to people, I will. But if I don't have to, and like it's part of my job not to have like I like if it's my job I will try, but like otherwise like I feel like kind of weird going up to somebody and like especially one of my friends going like, "Hey, you want to buy this Cutco knife? Like you can chop people up, or you can chop your turkey really well and stuff." Like I've been in a couple of pyramid schemes where I probably should have said no, and I didn't. But but lesson learned after doing it 2 times. And yeah, so like me and her don't talk at all. Unless my friend Emily, that's the one I've been friends with forever. She messaged me actually a couple days ago asking me to show me her face and stuff like that. She's like, "I miss your face. You should come over." And I'm just like, "I miss your face too. I'll come over when I have time." And like there's one story with her. I remember there's one story of her that like made me so mad at her. But I was just like, I cannot believe how stupid you were when you were 16. And I still mention it to her sometimes. And she's like, "Nee, please don't bring this story up anymore." And I'm just like, no, you have to know. Because like there was one time when I was like 16 and I thought I had gone pregnant from the guy I was dating at the time. And it freaked me out, right? And I was like in China at the time too when I thought that, and I had like the whole scare in China, like I get a pregnancy test and everything, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I don't know. And when it turned out to be negative, it was fine. And when I went back home from China, I was chilling with her and stuff, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she's like, "Nee, I need to know, are you pregnant?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not pregnant. Like, don't worry about that." And she's like, "Oh, thank God, because like if you get pregnant, I have to go get pregnant too." And I was like, "What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you have to go get pregnant too?" She's like, "Well, because you get pregnant, um, that other girl gets pregnant, so that means the logical reason is I should go get pregnant." And I was just like, "Emily, do not ruin your future or your life and get pregnant just because I get pregnant and then this other girl gets pregnant. This isn't like a bandwagon that you get on and you're just like, oh my god, let me go pop up this kid because my other two best friends have babies too now." And I was just like, I was so mad at her at that time. Like I remember having a serious talk with her and like going like, if you do that, I will never forgive you. She still ended up getting pregnant, but like 1 year later. So, but that was her choice, and I
Okay.
yeah, I just didn't get pregnant. She has
Mhm.
one kid now, but that's it. But she even says that's like too much work to deal with.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, like I I think like that's I there's like I had like maybe like two boyfriends in elementary, but that was like when I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah,
And
we'll talk
one
about relationships in like a whole separate topic.
okay, next part then.
Yeah, of course. You could save it. You could talk about school specifically, like what you like did in school during your time.
Like I don't even remember what I did in school most of the time. I remember one of my teachers was really nice though. Like she like I was in grade 6 or 7, and at the time like my mom like at that time like we're financially poor. But my
Mm.
mom can't afford to buy these glasses for me cuz like I obviously couldn't see. Like there are times where I would sit in the back of the class and my teacher would write something on the board and I can't see it because like like I had no glasses. Like I didn't even know I needed glasses, and like when I got checked up, they're like, "Oh yeah, like you need glasses." And so like my mom would have to pay for those glasses, and my mom's like, "I can't afford that," because like at the time, I don't think you could. Like the government wasn't paying for your glasses and prescription and all that. So I remember there was one time, like I think her name was Mrs. Puff off in a weird way. But no, I think she looked like Mrs. Puff, like from SpongeBob, which is why I call her Mrs. Puff. I think I don't remember her name anymore, but she was like she was really scary and mean a lot of the times, but she was also really jolly when she wanted to be. And sometimes I was too nervous to say anything to her. And she like one day she was like, "Nee, I need to talk to you." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, shoot, this is it. She's gonna like tell me like this is over. And she was just like, "Nee, like don't tell the other kids, but I bought you these glasses with the prescription you need in them, so you can see when you're in my class." And I was just like, cause I'm like, what, 12? I don't know what to say. And I was just like, or like, yeah, like I was like, "Oh, you don't have to. Like, I mean, like, I was she was just like, no, like, I really want you to see, like, not just my class, but I want you to go experience life. I want you to go see everything. Like, don't, um, don't limit yourself to just this place, right? Like I know what it was like when I had to wear glasses and you can't see. Like I got laser eye surgery done so I can see 2020, but like not being able to see 2020 was like horrible, especially if you don't have glasses. And I was like, I think I cried and I gave her a hug and everything, and like I just didn't know how to react. And
Mm-hmm.
she told me like, Don't cry anymore," because like it would seem like I'm bullying you. And she was joking, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll stop. But she was a really solid teacher. Um, I Like, it's a shame I don't remember her name anymore because I don't even think she was my teacher. Because
Mm-hmm.
like in my elementary, there's these two classes. They combined it both like the grade 6 and 7 class because like there's a wall that you could open and close. So we kind of did that kind of system. And I had like the other scary teacher who was actually really, really strict if you broke rules. And she was like a nicer, softer version of the scarier teacher. She still got like mad when she had to, but like she was still like really nice when she had to be too. But yeah.
For sure. How were you academically?
Well, now I have my bachelor's art in psychology. I'm actually still in school right now, but I'm doing a graduate program in substance use and mental health. And yeah, so like like I'm not like the smartest either. There are times where I have to like really read something, but and I honestly believe anybody can achieve it as long as they put their mind to it.
Mm-hmm. How about for your younger years, like elementary, middle school, high school?
Um, Honestly, I don't remember that much in high school. Like I remember in high school, I was probably really miserable and depressed. Like I didn't realize it until I was like 19 or 20 and something had happened and I was like diagnosed with like severe depression. Like it didn't really click to me until I was like because like I remember when I was 16, I had like I went to sleep that day and I woke up and had a dream that like I just hoped the knife would go through my head and stuff. And it didn't really click to me at the time cuz like it was just like, oh, like just another dream. Oh well. And I was just like, oh shoot, that was just like, damn, like now that I sit here and I really think about it, I'm just like, how did I miss all these signs that I had depression? And I'm just like, I just don't think it's because it was like mental health was not talked about. It was shamed on during the time. Like a lot of people are like, don't talk about like if you have depression, don't mention it and stuff. And I was just like, oh man. But in high school, I think it was fine. Honestly, I think I was more of a troublemaker in elementary school than in high school. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember going to the principal office more than in elementary than in high school. It was funny. I was just like, maybe I just had to get it all out in elementary, you know?
Yeah.
And then in high school, it just kind of like all closed in.
Were you involved with like clubs and activities back then?
Um, yeah, actually, there is like this one club that me and my friends started. It was called the Anime Club. What you do in that
Nice.
club, basically, yeah, what you do in that club basically is I think it was like every Thursday after school, you go to this classroom, and we all fight about which anime to watch, and it was a complete like the worst show ever because like you would sit there in a room with 10 other people or like less than 10 people and like you would stand in front and you'd be like, so what do you guys want to watch? And then there's like this one dude that wants to watch like this heavy metal anime with the really bad drawings. And then there's these like three girls that are like, oh my god, I want to watch the cute romantic anime with the happy couple getting together. And you have this one person who's like, I just want to watch anime where like you cook and stuff. And like because there's so many different personalities and people in there, we could never get through all of them, right? Like it would be like because like it I think it made it worse because like it was only once a week. And like at one point we told them like, hey, why don't we make a list and then we'll watch each show but only one anime show each time and see what pops up. And then like we would never get through the whole list in a year because there's just too many new animes that would pop up the next week and the next week and the next week and the next week. And like apparently I didn't know this, but apparently somehow like I was the anime club president, but nobody had informed me. And so
Okay.
one day, like it was weird. Like I didn't show up to the anime club for maybe like a month and a half, and then when I did, my friend Kyle, he was like, "Oh, you're the anime club president. Why weren't you here for like the last month and a half?" I'm just like, "I am. Why didn't anybody tell me? Like, who decided I was the president? I would not do that." I was too shy to say anything in high school. Like, I barely even wanted to speak like two words to the teacher most of the time because I felt like if I said anything, it would sound dumb and be dumb. And I was
Mhm.
just like, I don't want to, like, I was just like, don't give me that title. Like, I never signed up to be that title. Like, you take it because you're here pretty much like every week, not me. So he ended up being the president of the anime club, and I was just another bystander. Um, like other clubs I had joined was like there was like a Japanese club. Um, there was Tango in our school. I went to go see that. Oh my god, there was a lot of random clubs I joined. There was a magic club. Oh my god, the magic club was the best. I wish I kept going though, but I think the guy who was running it, because like it was a teacher that was teaching us magic tricks.
Mhm.
He ended up retiring like the next year. So, like, I only learned like one magic trick, but it never works out now. Like, if I try to do that magic trick, people are too impatient. So, like, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch this magic trick. Like, it's this card," and I'm like, "Guys, you have to wait for the trick, you know?" And they're like, "No, it's too much work to wait for the trick," and I'm just like, "Oh my god." But yeah, like, oh man, like. I would always join clubs in high school and elementary, but like I would only go to like one or two like the first meetings and then I would stop because like I just did not find any interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you classify your own stereotype as within high school? What kind of kid were you? People
Oh,
looked at you as?
who I hung out with and like if I was a popular kid or whatever.
Yeah, whatever stereotype
Um,
you could give yourself.
I feel like it's either like there's like a few things because I was like in band in high
Mm-hmm.
school.
Okay.
The thing I didn't know about this was like when I was signing up for the classes and like I was talking to my counselor at the time, she had told me like I had to pick between band or drama. And I liked the idea of drama. But when she said band, I thought she meant like a rock band. Like, like the guitars, the drums, the bass. And I was like, how is this a class? Like, is this even possible to run? And I was just like, all right, I'll take band. Turned out it was a concert band.
Concert band.
No, like for a kid that lived in the countryside, the only band I knew was a rock band. So countryside, I was just like, I was like a concert band. I was like, what's a concert band? So I started learning about wood wind instruments, like saxophones, like percussion, like oh my god. Oh, it's just like I was like, oh, this is the kind of band. Oh, I did not know this is a band at all. I did not even know what a concert band was until like the very first day of class. And I was sitting there and they're like, okay, kids, what instrument do you want to play? And I was just like, they were like listing off all these instruments, and I was just like, I don't know, let's go with the flute because every other Asian kid is picking that. And so like at one point I was a band nerd, but then I think I slowly just started becoming more of a wallflower person because I didn't really do much after I quit band.
Mm-hmm.
I just went with my own kind of flow. I had to stereotype it like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have a favorite memory from band?
My favorite memory from band. Um, I think my favorite memory was like when I go on those trips. Or like, cause like concert bands, you get trips, right? You go to some other country, and you play with you play with the whole class in front of a bunch of strangers, and you play like songs that you pick and stuff. And I just think my favorite memories were just going on those trips with my friends. Like I went to San Francisco when I was 16 and it was so fun. Like I gotta go to like Seven Flag or whatever it's called. Six Flag? I think it's called Six Flags.
Yeah.
All the roller coasters. It was great.
Dang, that's pretty cool to travel. Cali.
Yeah, like cause like the craziest thing I think was like my favorite thing about that trip was that the teachers sat us all down. And was just like, okay guys, like, do you guys want to take a plane there? Or do you want to take a bus there? Or do you want to take airplane there? And like everybody was like, a train. Like, let's get on that train. So like I think about like 80% of the class was just like when they were like, okay, who wants to get on the train? We're all like we're all like, let's go, let's take this train. And when we got on the train, it's so big. Like you get like we didn't know how big the seats were, right? And even though we didn't get like one of those trains with a bed and stuff, like there was like the chairs are like this big and you could shove like 3 bags underneath the seats that you could like sit up the whole time, and like you can run down like to another train and like get food at this little store down the stairs, and then like down another trolley there's like an arcade, and then in another trolley there's areas where you can sit and play like card games like Uno or Rom. It was great. Like I loved it. Like I think that was like my favorite. I think the most favorite memory on that train was that so like we get chairs to sleep in, right? But like they're obviously uncomfortable if you sit in them long enough.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of my classmates would try to sleep in the lane where all the chairs are, and they would sleep in the middle because like they could stretch out more. And like like the conductors would walk by and be like, hey, wake up, you can't sleep here. Like this lane is for emergencies in case like there's a fire and people need to like go and leave. And it was just like, okay, that's understandable. And so they try to sleep in the arcade. And because there's more space in the arcade. And then the conductors would see them and be like, oh, you can't sleep in the arcade either, okay? And so what my teacher did, okay, this was my teacher. He was like, he couldn't sleep in the chair. So he got up and said, I had to go to a washroom. And he found a dark little corner in the arcade and rolled himself up in a ball to sleep there. And the conductor went in there and like checked the room because it's like the arcade had like no machines running. Like it's a really bad arcade. Like Like there's no power or anything. He was sleeping in the corner. Conductor went in there and went like, nobody's here, and he slept the whole night in the arcade room. So the conductor came the next morning and was just like, are you sleeping in here? And he was just like, no, I was playing the video game. No, it's just like, like I didn't hear about it until like next morning around lunch when everybody was spreading the rumors around. But it was funny. That's probably my favorite.
Love the
But yeah,
details.
yeah, like I remember really stupid things. Like if you ask me to remember details about like my homework, I cannot tell you. But if it's about stories, I could tell you for for a while.
Hmm. What else did you do to like kill time during your younger years?
um, During my younger years, like I don't think much. Like honestly, I was like it's weird because like I think I was really extroverted when I was in elementary school. But when I was in high school, I was pretty introverted. So like
Mm.
most of the time I just stayed in my room, watched a bunch of anime, read a bunch of mangas, and like didn't do much unless it was for school or something. Like I had no like if somebody was just like, "Hey, you want to join the soccer team that's not part of our school?" I'd be like, "No." "Do you want to go do this and something?" And I was like, "No." If it was a party, I might have shown up, but like otherwise, I'd be like that person in the corner, and I'd be like, "No, I don't want to do that." Like, no.
Yeah, at least you knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah, like I was like it was weird because like I was extroverted and introverted, and now I think I'm like a mix of the both.
Hmm. Okay, so aside from that, just to confirm, so did you do any sports, or are you not into that?
I think I only did sports in elementary, if I remember. Like I did everything in elementary. Like I joined the basketball team, I joined the soccer team, I joined the volleyball team.
Hmm.
Like I remember I broke my arm one time when I was younger. Like I was like riding a bicycle like where I lived before. There's like these two hills that you go up. And like you get to this one point of this hill and you ride all the way down both the hills until the very end. And I would always take my bicycle to the very top and ride all the way to the bottom.
Hmm.
And one day when I was riding all the way to the bottom, um, my bicycle has really shitty brakes. So when I got to the second part of the hill and it churns, so you it's like a blind spot. You don't see what's in front of you there. There's these two kids passing by in front of me, and the brakes weren't working obviously because I was like I was full force went down, pedaled while going down the second hill, and I'm just like, I don't have enough time to stop because like I'm turning around this corner, and like if I where I stop is usually where the kids are walking. So when I couldn't stop, I turned my bicycle. I hit the curb, flew off my bike, and I broke my arm because I hit the car that was parked, and I hit the muffler, and I broke my right arm. I
Hmm.
like my mom wasn't home. Broke it. I was crying the whole time, and the two kids are just staring at me. They're like one's 3 and the other one's 6 years old. They don't know what to do. So the older sister went to go get her older brother, who's like 14 at the time, and like I'm just wailing my eyes out, because I hit the car, and like the 3-year-old's just staring at me. And then her brother was just like, "Oh shit!" So he picked me up, brought me home, and my brother, I think at the time was 13, and like we didn't know what to do, right? And he was like, "How's your arm feeling?" And I'm like, "It really hurts." And he's just like, "You think we should tell mom?" And I was just like, "I don't know, like maybe if I just sleep it, like if I sleep on it, maybe it'll get better, right?" He's like, "Okay, yeah, that's a good idea." So I went to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours, and then and then my mom came home later, and I was just like, I was like, I was still like still holding my arm in pain. And my brother's like, "How's your arm?" I'm just like, I was like trying to move my fingers. I couldn't even move my fingers. And he was like, we should probably tell mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so so we told my mom, and my mom was so mad at my brother. He was just like, how could you let this happen to your sister? She broke her arm. You didn't say anything. It's like you could just hear her yelling at him throughout the whole house. And I was trying to pick up rice with my broken arm, and I couldn't even do that. And my mom's watching me pathetically like dip my arm into the rice pot, going, and then she was just like, give me that. Let me get you the rice. We went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I think we sat there for like 4 hours before a doctor saw me and then put a cast on my arm. And even when I had that cast on my arm, I was playing like soccer and stuff with it. And
Yeah.
people were too scared to come near me because they're just like, what if this Asian chick just wraps me with the cast? And I was like, I remember there were times where we had soccer games and I was so bored because like I was just like, nobody was bringing the soccer ball over, right? And I was just a defender. I would take off my shoes and just walk around the field while looking at my feet because I was just like, they're all so busy over there while I'm over here doing nothing but swinging my cast around for exercise. But yeah, like I did pretty much like every type of sport I could think of when I was in elementary. But in high school, I stopped all that. Like I guess I just didn't feel it anymore. Like I didn't want to do soccer. I didn't want to do baseball. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. I was just like, I think I just want to be lazy. That's what I said.
Any other injuries you've ever sustained in your life?
Um, no, I think lucky me. I think that was the only thing that I ever sustained in my life, like a broken arm. Like I think I was close. I think I was close to getting a cast on my leg because I got hit by a forklift one time, but it was just a really nasty bruise, and I was limping for a while. And I fell in a ditch one time too, but I just ended up limping on that too. So otherwise, like it was just my arm. Like I remember when the doctor had saw me, he was just like he was telling me how like I would have this bump on my arm, like the bone would be jutting out for like at least like a year or something, because it would
Yeah.
have to like take time to readjust to go back in place. And like for a year, I would just stare at my arm like this, like some psychopath. Being like, is the bone going back in? I just don't know. Like, is it supposed to be like this? I just don't know. Like, I think I did that for like at least 3 years before I realized, oh, it's just like that.
Other than injuries, have you ever gotten into like a fight or anything
Um,
physical?
yes, in elementary school. Uh, this was during like Yu-Gi-Oh phase. Oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh was big. I remember buying a deck of cards and we were betting, we were gambling with these like grade seveners, and I was like grade 5 or 4. I was pretty young, but I was like in grade 4, I think. And this grade 7 kid want my blue eyes white dragon. Oh no, my red eye dragon thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was just like, okay, if you win, I'll give you this, and if I win, you give me this. And he was like, okay, deal. And like we had to do this during lunchtime because that's like the only time that I would ever see a grade 7 in my life. And like he was rushing me to go play with him, and I was like, no, like I want to eat. And he was like, so like my one of my friends suggested like, hey, why not take your Yu-Gi-Oh card deck, and I'll go play for you in your stead. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? So I gave him my deck. I finished eating, and when I came back, he had lost the game. I was pretty sore loser back then. Like, I'll admit it. Like, I did not like losing, especially if it's not my fault. And he was just like, "Now you give me your card," and I was like, "No." And then I fought with the the guy's like this big, and I'm like this tiny, and I had a fight with him. Like, and I ended up going to the principal's office, and he asked me what happened, and I told him about it. And he's like, okay, now you guys have to write a reflection paper that's like 2 pages long, single space. Like, tell me why it's bad to gamble and why you shouldn't be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And don't fight with somebody that's like 3 years older than you and like 3 feet taller than you. And I'm just like, I was just like, whatever. I gotta keep my card.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that was I think that was like when I had a fight. But I've been involved in one fight in high school, but I wasn't like fist fighting. I was just screaming them to stop fighting because like we were in an arcade. I don't know why all these stories go back to arcade.
Arcades. Yeah, yeah. Go
Yeah,
for it.
like we were in an arcade and I was friends with this guy named Howdy, and he had said something to some guy, and the guy didn't like what he said to him. And then he was just like, "You want to fight about it?" They're like, "Yeah, let's fight about it." So like one of his friends swung the first punch, knocked out my friend, and my friend Kyle like came out, punched them back. They had this huge tussle at the arcade, and I'm just standing there screaming at them to stop fighting because like I was just like, "Guys, stop fighting! Like you shouldn't do this, etc." And like all of us got kicked out. Security guard had to break it up because this arcade was actually at a mall, not at a train. And I was like, they were like telling me how like I was a pussy and I didn't fight, and all I did was scream, and I was just like, to me that's fine, I think, because like I rather solve things with words than fist now.
Mm-hmm.
Like in video games, I'll solve it using violent swords and stuff, but I think in real life it's better to just talk.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever encountered any bullying throughout your life? And if so, how did you respond?
Um, I remember like in elementary school, me and this girl were bullied for having lice. And, like, I found it really hypocritical when I was younger. Because I would be like on the side of the other girl who had lice and be like, okay, yeah, we're really good friends. But behind her back, I would talk shit about her and be like, oh, yeah, she has lice. Like, I could never be friends with her because she has lice. Like, that's crazy. And, like, I think that's the one thing I really didn't like about myself, because like I started realizing that, because like I kind of did the same thing in high school, and I was just like, wow, I'm the worst person out there. Like I can't believe I would like say one good thing or say good stuff to this person, and then later I would go backstab them like that. Like I was just like, what kind of person am I? And that really made me change, like, because like I think I didn't really realize it, because like you see like I was watching so many TV shows and it seemed like it was a normal thing to do. But when I grew up and I figured out like, oh my god, like I'm the worst, like I should stop that. I want to say I don't do that anymore, and I feel like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I know sometimes there are times where I just want to vent about my feelings about somebody, but I'm more straightforward about it now. Like I don't go beating around the bush and going like, "Hey, I think you're a great person," and then later telling my other friend being like, "Hey, like this person's awful." Like I usually like just straightforwardly tell them now. I'm just like, "Look, I don't like how you treat me. I don't like how you do this. Like I appreciate your thoughts and all that, but like, could you stop doing that and this, because like it's pretty unfair and I just don't like it." And if I don't like something and I don't want to say anything, I'll just leave and not deal with it, because it's just like I've already mentioned it once, and it's just like it's easier if I just step out. And if they want to keep being like that, that's fine. But like I just don't have to get involved because it's their life, and I can't really say like I can't really judge them for how they want to live their life or be, because we're all our own person.
Mm-hmm. All right, for sure. So, talk about the transition from high school to college. How'd you end up picking that specific college and major, and how's it been so far?
Um, so when I was in high school, they like give you all these pamphlets and all these options, and they even give you like a little list where they're like, "Hey, sign up here if you want to get a tour to like this university or this college." Like, I didn't. checked or looked at any of those because, like, I think at that time I was just like, I'm not gonna go to college. Like, I just don't want to. But like, I was about to graduate. My brother at this time, I think went to um he went to a school and he got a diploma, but he wasn't using it. So my mom's like, I think my mom's thinking like, oh, this is my last shot to get a kid, get education and do something that she really likes and stuff. So I think I felt pressure too. So I ended up just applying to a bunch of schools. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like I just picked whatever sounded good and that didn't require like high standards you like UBC. It's like really high standards. Like you have to have a GPA of like 3.8 or something, have A pluses, have to get like your teacher reference, you have to get like this like you have to take this class, and this class to get into like this program or something. I just picked like the stupidest colleges and universities that like require the minimum, and I was still taking the classes I was interested in. And I just applied for a bunch, and like I got accepted to a few, and I ended up going to a university called KPU. It's like Kwantlen Polytech University, because I heard their accounting diploma was actually really good there. Yeah, I originally went to accounting because my mom was like pressuring me to get a 9 to 5 job, and she was like, I want you to work in like office area and you just type way life. I was just like I didn't have any plans, right? Like I didn't I the only thing I was thinking about doing was law, but I thought that was difficult because that means I have to read more, or accounting, and I love numbers, so it's fine, and chemistry, but I didn't want to keep going in chemistry because I was just like, oh, it's fun drawing these stupid little circles and stuff, but I was just like, I think I like playing with a calculator more than I like drawing lines going to circles. So I got accepted to this university. Um, I actually didn't meet my English requirement. So for like a year, I was upgrading my English at that university. Then I ended up getting my diploma in accounting. I then went into like I was like I think I started my third year of accounting, and then I realized how much I hated accounting. Like absolutely hated it. Like I was just like, why did I sign up for this when I hate it so much? And I realized it was probably because like I just wanted to fulfill my mom's wishes into going into like a 9 to 5 job. So I was so scared, but like I had to talk to my mom and be like, "Hey mom." Like I was practicing the speech in my bedroom or like in a washroom or something by myself, going like, "Hey mom, just wanted to inform you, I'm dropping out of university. I don't want to do accounting. I hate it. I don't want to, I don't want to be here." Like, so yeah, like I'm gonna go. Like I'll go find a part-time job or something, you know? Like, yeah, and I was just like, no, she's gonna kill me. And I was so scared because, like, I know she's not like a typical like must get good grades and stuff. Like, she wants me to get like a job I like and decent grades and all that. I mean, she prefer I get good grades, but yeah. And then I was just like, I was like, okay. And then when I told her, I was really shocked by how like calm she was. She was just like, "Okay, yeah, go drop out. That's fine." And I was like, "Are you sure you're not gonna kill me or anything?" And she's like, "No, do you want me to?" And I was like, "No, no, 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 that's okay, that's okay." So I think I took a like 2 year break from university, and then I like something happened during that time, and like it was like a big major change, and I was just like, you know what? I think I know what I want to do now. So I went back, but not to the university because like the university is like an hour and a half from my house, and it's just too much work to go there all the time. And especially I hated that school. I went to a college near my house, and I ended up doing psychology. And like I didn't realize how much I loved it until like I was doing it. You know, I took all these philosophy classes, was doing psychology classes, I was just doing like women's rights and all that. And I was just like, man, I was just like, this is so much easier. I was just like, man, I think I like, but like it took me like years to figure it out because of all the psychology classes, I think. But like I think I only liked accounting for that long was because this is gonna sound really sadistic, but I like to watch people suffer when
When they're what?
they're doing accounting, right? Like, like if you write in a number and stuff, and you're supposed to, like, in accounting, you're supposed to balance both the credit and the debit side. And like the thing about debit and credit is like debit means like it's a negative thing, but credit means it's a positive thing. But in society, when we use a debit card, it means like we have the money to use it. So people get those confused and all that. And like sometimes if you mess up one part of the number, like one side is like it has more money than the other side, and you're just like, what did I do wrong? How did I not balance this? And like, like in your first 2 years, because like I took accounting in high school, so like the first 2 years are like nothing to me. When I realized I just like watching people suffer when they do accounting, like I like to sit there and watch them suffer. And then I was just like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I can't believe this.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah, that's why I said it's gonna sound really sadistic, but I really like to watch them suffer when doing accounting. And when I got to the third year, I realized people knew their shit. So I couldn't watch it anymore. I was just like, oh, I was like, yeah, I hate it. I don't know why I stuck this long to it.
So aside from like work, what did you do to kill time throughout your college life to where you're at now?
Um, when I first went to university in accounting, like, because like accounting is like business and you need to have like contacts and stuff like that to like, network and stuff. So I joined this kind of club there that was called Isaac or something like that. Or yeah, and like they like it was like a networking system where you talk to a bunch of people and be like, "Hey, what's up? Want to be my friend?" Be like, "Cool, let's be friends." And I was just like, "Oh, that's nice and all." So I joined that club because it was like one of those business things. I can probably learn how to do accounting, and like they threw out these like huge parties, and like they would ask me to join them and stuff, and I'd be like, well, because it's a networking thing, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, okay, let's go party. But then like I absolutely hated it because like there's like 60 people, and like everybody seems to know somebody, and everybody seems to know this person, and everybody seems to know that person. And here I am, like the most introverted person ever, leaving high school, joining a party, going like, hey, what's up, like, wanna be friends? And they're just like, yeah, what? And they're like way too pumped for me, and I'm just like, okay, sure. Like, let's be friends. And they're like, wow. And then they're just like, they realize like I'm really quiet and shy. And they're like, I'm just gonna go to the next person. Like, fuck you, I'm out. Yeah, like, I think that club, I think I joined that club, and I think I lasted about like 3 months before I was like, I don't think this is it for me. Like, I think I'll just network like my own way. And I like would just talk to some people in my classes, but none of them really stuck around too long because these classes only last about like 4 months or something. And the only time somebody would ask me anything is like, hey, so like the last test, how did you get this question right? Because I was actually pretty good at what I did. And then I'd be like, oh, you just do this and this. And that's where the sadistic side comes in. And yeah. But in college now, um, I don't think I did too much. Like, I just made I usually just talk to the people in my class because we're all like kind of interactive with each other because it's psychology and you have to like talk to clients sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, so we're forced to talk to each other, and like I made two pretty good friends. Like one of my friends is named Esther. She's a little weird, like But I love her because she's interesting in her own way. She started her like during COVID, she started making an aquarium, and I was joking with her, but she bought some shrimps and stuff, and now she breeds them. So now she has shrimp every night once in a while because they just breed themselves. And I'm just like, oh, like okay. I'm just like, that's interesting. And my other friend Oliver, he works as a support worker with kids, and sometimes me and him talk and exchange information because sometimes we're in these situations where we don't know what to do. And like he would ask his manager too, but like sometimes her response is pretty flat compared to mine. So he'd be like, okay, like let me ask my friend me because she seems to know some stuff too because we all went and finished our BA in psychology. I was like, oh, yeah. But otherwise, like in college, in with psychology, I didn't really do much except maybe attend like a couple things. Like I would go see dramas that are held by some of the students, or I
Hmm.
see like community plays,
I
and
see.
some of them are pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay. How about in regards to work? Let's talk about that. Your work experience from the first one, and then you could just follow up with like whatever you're doing now.
Um, So like I because like when you have to graduate high school here, you have to
Hmm.
do volunteer work. So the way I got away with that was I would volunteer to mark the papers and stuff for my science teacher. So I didn't have to leave and like get a job and stuff. And
Hmm.
like my mom didn't want me to get a job during high school because she was worried that and I was honestly I probably should have gotten a job way earlier because I feel like it would have taught me responsibility better
Hmm.
than me trying to figure it out when I was like 19, 20 or something. And like I would usually just end up volunteering a lot for like from 16 to like 19. My mom was worried I would get a job and I would quit because like money, big money, money just being slapped in my face and being like, yeah, you should quit. You don't need to go to school. Why do you need school when you have money, a paycheck? And I mean, like it kind of happened that way because like when I actually got my first job, it was a graveyard job. So I would work from like I think at the time was like I would start work at 10 p.m. and I'm supposed to get off work at like 8 a.m. And sometimes I think when I first got that job, like the first week, one of those days in the week, because like it was only a 3 day job, I I worked like 18 hours straight like in the first week and it was crazy. Like I was just like, that's the first and last time I'm ever doing that.
Wait, doing what?
It was like I was like it was a graveyard job to doing like inserting flyers into newspaper. Like it was the most basic job you could ever get.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I kept this job for like like it was way long overdue, but I think I liked it because of the people there.
Hmm.
But I kept this job for about like 6, 7 years
Wow.
until yeah, like I was going to school in the morning and I was working graveyards at night. And it was crazy. I kept this job for a really long time and then like I got to know the people there and like it's when I start realizing like I think I actually do like working with people. I just don't like to admit it because it's yeah, I just don't want to admit to others that I like working with people. Because then people are like, "Oh my god, you love working with people, right?" Like, why don't you come help me do this and sort them out? And I'm like, "No, that's your job, not mine."
Hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, I kept that job for a really long time. Uh, and then I ended up quitting for a bit. Like I quit for like a year or two. Like I quit for a year or two, and they kept calling me like every time I was in college because I told them I was quitting to like finish my degree because I think it was like my second last year or my last year, and like I was just trying to finish it all up, and I wanted to get my bachelor's and like get a job and the thing I like to do. And they were like, they kept calling me like every once in a while, being like, "Hey, Nee, can you like come in and like do this and that?" And that's when I kind of realized like my depression I had was kind of coming back because like it was a huge change to me. Like for like 6 7 years I was doing this graveyard job, and then all of a sudden I'm like refixing my schedule of sleep. So like I I think for like 2 years I could not drink coffee because like every time I drank like a large cup of coffee, I would stay up for like 18 hours straight because my body's just so used to it. It's so pumped up at night. And I was just like, I have to
Jeez.
like I had to really cut off caffeine. Like I only drank like I couldn't stop the caffeine because like if I stopped the caffeine all of a sudden I would get these major headaches, and then I couldn't drink the caffeine either or too much of it. So I would end up just drinking like steep tea from Tim Hortons with like 3 sugar in it, and that was good enough. Like it didn't keep me awake, but it kept me like less headache and not that bad. And then like because I was like this whole like my whole body's like shifting to the idea of like going to sleep at night and waking up in the morning and actually doing something rather than working through the whole night and then going to school. It was like this like I had a huge major like breakdown, and I went to like a counselor and stuff because like at this point like because like I've already gone through depression one time, I knew where my
Mm-hmm.
breaking point was. So like I was like I need to go see a counselor, and I went saw a counselor. I saw her for like a few months, and then I said I think I'm good now. Like, I think it was just all these huge changes and this pressure that, like, I should have already graduated. I should have already had a job. I should have already had, like, all this experience that everybody else is talking about that I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my friends is like same age as me, but she's like, she's graduated, she got a job, she has all this experience. And then, like, I felt all this pressure, and I was just like, and then, like I had to say goodbye to like a lot of good coworkers and stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, I was like, it's such a huge change, and I was like, I need to go see somebody talk about it. They kind of like snapped me out of it, and it was good. Now I sometimes go see them once in a while, but not too often because like they like to like coax me back into working with them, and sometimes I fall for it because I don't like them so much, but I hate the work. Like I like the people there, but I hate the work of like putting flyers into papers. And like they know that I know how to fix the machine too, because we would use a big machine that does the whole insertion of the newspaper or the flyers into the newspapers. And I was just like I can't keep going seeing them. Like if they want to see me, they know my phone number. They know how to get in contact with me. They can always hit me up and be like, "Hey, Neat, like let's go get a drink." And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, okay." Um, so like yeah, now um I work as a support worker. I was volunteering there for a bit, and they had these positions open, and I just applied because I was just like I'll never know unless I shoot my shot. So I applied. I work as a support worker now. I also work as a cleaner on the weekends. Like I go clean people's houses, and there's this one kid I love to the death when I clean her house, but like she drives me mad because she just walks through everything when I'm cleaning the house, and she's like the little ghost, and I always make jokes with her mom calling her a ghost because she'll just walk through like the mop areas and leave little footprints on the floor, and I'll be like, oh my god. I'm like, please, please stop walking through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh, that's your current.
yeah, these like I honestly like my work experience is like mostly just working at that newspaper factory,
Mm-hmm.
and like I recently just got hired to be a support worker like maybe like a few months ago, And like I love it. Like I love being a support worker, but sometimes some of the clients I get, or some of the women I get, I'm not supposed to call them clients because in our workplace we call them women. Some of the women I get are a little crazy and they're a little hard to talk down. But like it's like I have to see it from their perspective that they've been through a lot. They've been through all this stuff and they probably think they sound like they're crazy and they probably know it too. And they're probably just like freaking out because like they're like, I don't know if this is right or if this is wrong. So like most of the time I have to remind myself like these women have been through so much ordeal having to go through what they go through. And like I have to sit there and be like really understanding of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I love it. Like just sometimes it's kind of like hard for me to be like like don't get mad at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes this isn't common sense for some of the women that come to see me, and sometimes it is to them. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any specific story you want to talk about in regards to all of your work experience before we move on?
Um. Like like I think one of the experience I had as a support worker is that because like the job right now is like because of COVID, they
Mm-hmm.
give me like this cell phone that's like gets all these calls from women that are just like, hey, I really need somebody to talk to, like I need help. And I remember this one experience where I felt like I was the absolute worst at what I do. Because this was probably the first negative call I got. And I sat there and I was just like, this lady had called and she was just like, hey, I'm calling right now because like I need help in like what to do next for my friend that wants to leave this person. And the protocol is to go through like what they need. Like you know, there's like the safety list, like what do they need to grab, like passports or money or something when they're leaving their abusive relationship and all that. And I was just like, did she have that? Does she have this? And then she was just like, yeah, she does. Like, you don't have to tell me something that's so common. Like, tell me something that's like useful or something. And I was trying to explain to her about transitional housing, where where I can give her numbers to transitional housings. But she also has to understand that like sometimes some transitional housings are full and like sometimes they like it's the really shitty system where like sometimes it'll take months to get in or sometimes it'll take weeks to get in. Sometimes if she's not in an emergency, like she won't get in until like months or weeks later. Like it really depends. Like if she was in an emergency and she's like um being like hit or abused or something like that by her husband or her partner, um then we could totally get her in like pretty much right away. But if she's not, it would take like months or weeks. And then she got really mad at me and she's just like, is this like your first time on the call or something? Like you don't seem to like know your stuff. And I was just like, no. She's like it's like all too confusing for me. Like I don't understand like what you mean or anything. And I was trying to explain to her again, and she got really upset with me. And then she was like, "Can I talk to somebody else?" And I was like, no, I'm the only one on the line right now." And technically, there was like it was like only like 5 minutes away from changing the shift. And I was just like, "If you want to wait like 10 minutes to like get a call transfer, you could do that." And she's like, "Okay, I'll wait on the line then until I get somebody else to talk to." And I'm like, no, you can't stay on this line because it's a crisis line. If this was a regular line, like I could do that, but I can't do that for you. Like we're not a transferring kind of thing. And she was like, oh, but like, uh, you said like I could talk to somebody in 10 minutes. I'm just like, yeah, when the lines are being transferred back to the office because I'm at my house right now. I'm not currently at the office. And she's like, okay, then I'll just wait. I'm just like, no, you have to hang up and then call back again. She's like, do I call the same number? And I was like, yes. And then, like, I was trying to tell her, and she's like, okay, then I'll just do that. And I was going to say goodbye and everything, but she hung up before I could. And that made me felt everything about the job. Like, it made me think, maybe I'm not cut out to be a support worker. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I should just quit. And I was panicking so hard that day, I remember. And I was just like, I don't know who I should talk to about. And I had to go into work that day anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I had talked to one of my coworkers and I told her everything. And she was like, "It sounds like you did everything that you were supposed to and that you explained to her and like it's not your fault. Like sometimes some of the ladies on the phone just get really mad and they just put it out on the person on the other side. So it's not even your fault. Like don't worry about it." And yeah, like I guess that's like the only like there's happier stories, but that was like the most recent one I had, I think, from this work where I'm just like, maybe I'm not cut out to be a support worker.
Hey, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's talk about more of the social aspects. Um, talk about your experiences that you've had with parties, events, like clubs, raves, all that. Whatever you want to talk about.
Uh, so, like I said, in high school, I was invited to a lot of parties, but
Hmm?
I didn't really go to them. And then when I did, I felt like I was forced. But when I was about like 20 to 20, look, 20, 21 to like to currently, I went to a lot of parties and clubbing, especially gay clubbing, because most of my friends uh are gay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love my one of my friends who I never thought would be called my best friend, or I consider best friend, Jordan. He used to love to go clubbing all the time. Like he would be like, "Oh my god, let's go to numbers," and I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go!" Like I think I really started being more extroverted thanks to him.
Mm-hmm.
He would always invite me to go clubbing and stuff, and then he started dating this guy named Michael, and he started like my because my then my friend Jordan had got a boyfriend, and they don't go clubbing often because it's like why would couples go clubbing unless they're with their partner? And so like sometimes his partner doesn't want to go, and sometimes I do, but I would go with my friend Michael a lot to go to like gay clubbing. Like most of the times it was just gay clubs I would go to because my friend is gay, but I'm not. But like I'm just there for the club. I'm just there for the drinks and the dancing. Like I'm not too worried about getting a relationship or anything. I'm just there to vibe it out and go hear like Britney Spears toxic remix from this DJ, or like I want to hear like what's that one song I love? Oh my god, there's so many songs that I would listen to. Uh I think one of them is like, "Man, I What It Feels Like to Be a Woman" by Sean Taiswazen or something like that. I don't remember. Like most of the time they would just want to listen to Britney Spears, but most of the time it was just there for the music and the alcohol. The alcohol is an extra bonus for me. But I would still like get hit on by some guys, oddly enough, at a gay club.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm really surprised because I'm always thinking like nobody's really gonna notice me because like I'm a girl and this is meant for like dudes to hook up with each other, not a girl and a dude to hook up.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was like well, like I remember sometimes we would go on weekdays where there's like no like because weekdays nobody really goes to a club, right? It's so usually just the weekends. On the weekdays, you get the whole dance floor to you and your friend, like you freaking rent it out by yourself, and you just party it up. And it was great. Like I loved it. Like I like there are some nights where I go on a Wednesday night and I should be honestly at home writing my paper that's due the next day at 6 p.m. But I'm like, they're just like, "Hey, Nee, you wanna go clubbing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." And I'll be like, no, I'm not like that. So I don't do irresponsible stuff like that. But before I would, and then I would hand in this paper the next day. Like I would quickly write up for like 6 hours or like 4 hours. Just pray to God I pass. and I
Mhm.
would still get a good, easy 80%, and I'd be like, "That's good enough for me." I'd be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. There was a question. So, how would you compare, like, gay clubs to non-gay clubs?
Oh, yeah, yeah, like gay clubs, it's interesting because like guys there, they'll just like they'll feel you up. Like if they're gay, like I had a guy that poked and grabbed my breast like a lot, and I didn't even realize until like a whole minute had passed. And they won't even ask you, like they won't ask you at all, like, "Hey, can I grope your breast or anything?" But let's do it. And then like they'll tell me like, "Oh, your breasts are so soft," and I'm just like, thanks." Like what the heck? And then like I can't like you could tell uh, like I made the worst impression of his voice, but like you could tell like through his gay, like he has a voice where he sounds gay, like "Oh my god, I love this! Like your breasts are so soft." Like he said it like that, where I couldn't get mad at him. But like at a normal straight club, if some guy did that to me, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I would like want to sock him, and then I would want to punch him out because he'd be like, "Ah, yeah, that's great. Like I love it." Like so like I guess like the environment's completely different because like the guys at a gay club sound super nice versus the guys at a straight club who sound super creepy and weird for touching my breast. And I'm like, no. But at a straight club, I will say it's just as busy as a gay club. It's just that you see more mix of both genders in a straight club versus a gay club. A gay club, you mostly just see men. And that's it. And you see drag queens. Oh, I love drag queens. Oh my god, there's so many drag queens out there. And I usually would buy them like a shot or something. Cause I'm just like, I'll buy you a shot. Cause like I don't have cash on me to give to you and be like, yes, queen, like go kill it out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, have you been to a rave?
A rave? Honestly, I think I got turned off from going to a rave because one of my old friends, Ken, loved going to raves. And he would go like to every rave I could. Like he listed off all these raves all the time. And for one of my birthdays, he was just like, "I'll buy you a rave ticket and like let's go to the rave together." But I never wanted to go because like he always talked about doing drugs and like hanging out with his other friends and stuff. And like I'm just not into drugs or anything. I was just into alcohol. Like I love alcohol, but like doing drugs and to listen to music at the same time, I didn't really want to do that. So I never went to a rave, but I do talk like I do have friends who are security guards that go to raves and they love their jobs because they can go as a security guard and then later when they get off their shift, they could just come back and be like, "I'm here for the rave." And it would be like a 2 for 1 deal kind of thing for them. And yeah, like I never went to a rave, but
Mm-hmm.
it sounds fun. I just don't think I don't think any of my friends will want to go to a rave with me anymore now because we're at that age and most of them have like boyfriends and girlfriends and they're just like, "I'd rather stay at home cuddled up with my boyfriend and having a hot chocolate together, sitting in front of a fireplace and loving each other and telling each other like all these deep dark secrets." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." And I'm just like, "It's fucking disgusting, but like it's cute."
Got it. Talk about your first time drinking, if you eat alcohol specifically.
When I drank the first time, like okay, when I was like 6, my crazy dad at the time had given me like he gave me a cup that's like half the size of this, and he filled it up like maybe like 1/4 of a cup, and he gave it to me when I was 6 years old, thinking like, "Oh, she'll be fine." And I drank it because like I'm only 6 or something, right? He gave it to me, I drank it, and then like I like puked it back right out to the cup, going like, "No, not that. That's no good. That is not a good cup of anything." And so like that was like the legit first time I remember drinking. But like me willingly drinking was probably when I was like, um, I think I was like 15,
Probably
and like I was friends. Oh no, 16, and like I was friends with these. This one.
Oh,
Hmm?
sorry,
And like I was
there's
friends.
an echo.
Oh no, 16. Oh sorry. And
No,
like
no, no,
I was
it's, I
friends
think
with
it's me.
these.
What is that?
This one.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, there's a
Um.
echo.
Should I continue?
No, 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 wait, give me 1 second, sorry.
Okay. Um. Should I continue?
Wait, give me 1 second, sorry.
Okay. Um. Should I continue?
Wait, give me 1 second, sorry.
Okay.
No idea what it is. Where is that sound coming from? You guys hear it? Or is it just me? No idea what it is. Where is that sound coming from? You guys hear it? Or is it just me? I think I have something open on my Streamlabs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, okay, I got it, I got it. Okay, you're good. You can continue.
Okay. So the first time I was willing to drink was I think when I was 16, and my best friend at the time, she was 20, so she could legally buy alcohol here. Like they wanted to like drink, like really drink, cause like at the time when I was 16, I was in that anime club, and there was like a anime convention that comes here like every year. And so like I made a bunch of like friends. Like I wouldn't consider them friends, but like at the time like I didn't know what the word acquaintance was, so I would call them friends. And they would throw all these parties, and they have alcohol there, and like they would be like, "Oh, let's everybody drink." But like obviously I would come late because like these parties are like made up last minute. So if you're not in the group where they're gonna go like, "Woo, drink," like you'll miss out. And like every time I get to the end of the party, there would be like coolers with like like not even a drop of like cooler or something, and my friends would try to attempt to drink it because they were like underage like me too, but I'd be like, that's kind of weird, like guys, let's just buy our own or something, right? Like let's ask one of our friends to buy it and we'll host the party somewhere. um so that's what we did. I asked my friend like, hey, do you want to drink? I'll host it at my house, because like at this point my mom's like, she still gives us like pretty much all the freedom in our house, and she lets us do pretty much anything we want. And so my friend went into the alcohol store to buy coolers, because like none of us even actually could drink or like knew how to drink. So like I'm handling like her buying the alcohol, and then like people are wanting to find out where my address is, so I'm getting a bunch of phone calls, and she's calling me going like, hey, what kind of cooler should I get, what kind of flavor? I'm just like, I don't know, strawberry. And she's like, what other flavors? I'm like, I don't know, just pick whatever. So she bought all the alcohol, we all met up, we all went back to my place, and she bought like, I think like 6 or 8 different types of coolers, but they were all strawberry flavors. And that was like probably the worst experience of my life, because you'll have like one Bacardi cooler that's like strawberry, and you'll have like this other weird cooler that's a strawberry flavor, but they both taste so different, but they still taste like strawberry, but not really. And like that's what I remember. I was just like, I hate strawberries. I never want to have another strawberry cooler in my life or any strawberry flavored drinks, because it was too much strawberry for me. And I was just like, I don't want to go back down that path. But I think that was like the first time I like drank like a whole bottle for myself. That wasn't like I picked up from some table and like try to get a drop from it somewhere. And then it was great. It was nice. Like I was it was like exactly what I expected, because like we were all lightweights, so we all got drunk off like a bottle or a bottle and a half. And then yeah, that's when we first drank, or when I first drank.
What type of drunk would you say you are?
Oh, um, I think it really depends on my mood. Like, I think it really depends on the situation I'm in at the time. Cause like sometimes I'm like a fun drunk. Like I'll go like, yeah, let's go skinny dipping or something. Like I'll do all these really crazy things and I'm drunk, and like have the best time of my life. But if I'm sad or thinking of something, I'll be crying my heart out and like hugging this other girl, going like, "Why does he love me? Oh my god!" Like apparently I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Another time, like I was really mad at somebody, don't remember, and I kind of like blacked out drunk, and apparently I walked up to him, punched him, and then I
Oh
went to
shoot.
sleep. And I was like, oh my god, like I was like, I don't even remember that, so I apologized to him in the morning. But I remember before I blacked out drunk, like how mad I was at him before like I punched him out. Okay, I didn't punch him out, but I did punch him really hard apparently. And like he said, like he had a bruise on his arm, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I promise I won't drink near you again. Like if I'm mad at you, that's why like I'm very straightforward with my feelings now. Because like I realized it was really bad for me to ball everything up. Because that's what I do. Like if I'm mad or something, I'll bottle it up and I won't say anything. And then you'll just see it come out in the worst way when I'm drunk. That's why I was just like, I need to like say what I want to say and not just say nothing anymore. Because it's unhealthy for me this way. But yeah,
Okay, how about your favorite and least favorite drink?
my favorite drink, I think before it was like my favorite drink when I first started was Fireball because it tasted like cinnamon hearts. But I hate that now. And then it progressed to be like uh Crown Royal
Mm-hmm.
because like that tastes actually really really good. Like I actually really like that for a bit. But I think it was more like most to be honest, I think most of my favorite drinks come from another person. So when I first started drinking more, I started preferring like Crown Royal and stuff because my other friend was just like, "Oh yeah, this is smooth and stuff." And then like I started hanging out with this other girl from my workplace, and she loved tequila shots. So now I actually really like tequila. Um, but like, cause like it like now like I don't drink anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
I like before when I was like a heavyweight drinker, it would take like about like tequila shots for me to actually get drunk or like anywhere tipsy because like I just drank way too much at that time. And like now I like tequila, but I think it's only because I like the lime that comes with it. Otherwise, I really like paralyzers. It's just like Kahlua and milk mixed together, and it's nice. It's quite nice and cold. But the drink I don't like, I think anything Bacardi related. Like because of the whole experience with the strawberry cooler.
Strawberries, yeah.
I think most of them were Bacardi flavored strawberries, and I can't get rid of the taste or the memory. And I'm just like, oh no.
All right, on to your specific interests. You mentioned you watch anime. Are you
Mm.
also into movies, shows, and dramas and stuff like that?
Um, there's like this one TV show I really like to watch. It's like a Korean TV show. That's called Running Man. I don't know if anybody here's heard about it, but like it's like a reality TV show where this group of people get together and they do like random games and stuff to like win
Running
gold or
Man.
something at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I like when I first started watching it, I think they're at like episode like 150 or something like that, and one of the actors that I like to watch there, technically they're not like paid actors to say something, but apparently like they're just actors that get together and say whatever is on their mind during that time. And a lot of people confirmed this to be true. And like one of the people I really like to watch on there before was a guy named called Kangeri, and he's like a underground rapper that sings Korean music. And I have a bunch of his songs on my phone that I like to sometimes just like listen to and just chill if I'm like I just need like time, like something to think to, or just really horribly rap to in Korean that I can't rap to at all. And like yeah, but yeah, and like otherwise I think most of the time like I don't really like watching drama series stuff anymore because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the episodes are too long
Yeah.
and they kind of drag on for no reason. Like I'll watch like maybe the first 5 episodes, but it just like it drags on so long to the point where like they finally get to this part where they're like, okay, yeah, like he is the bad guy and she was right and I'm sorry for that and stuff. And that drags on for like 3 episodes long or something. Or sometimes like the same situation just keeps popping back up and up and up and I'm just like, I can't, like, it's so boring. Like, sometimes I just put it on and I just listen to it. It's like white sound, white noise sound, and I just study to it while listening to it. And like the only time I actually watch anything if it's the movie now. So like there's a there's like they kept putting out all these zombie movies in Korean that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Train to Busan, hashtag alive. They put out the Train to Busan 2, and then like my friend pointed me to like I think I realized like I really like gory stuff too. So I started watching Squid Game, and then like my friend mentioned Sweet Home, and like if it's like the boring typical romance stuff, I think I can't watch it anymore because it's just too like it like I could like I have a problem where I can really easily predict where the storyline's going to direct to, and it's hard to throw me off. Cause like I'll make assumptions. Like everybody does it. Everybody makes assumptions in the first few episodes, and I'll figure it out in like maybe 1/4 of the episode or something. And then I'll and then like as I'm watching it, like 3 episodes later, I'm just like, I knew it. Like duh, obviously. And I think that's why I don't watch a lot of things that like I can easily predict something.
What would you say your top five is for shows and anime? Like
Um,
separate categories.
oh, like categories of like types of animes.
No, just like a top five list for anime and top five list for like shows, TV shows.
Oh, like okay. To be honest, when I graduated high school, I realized I don't like actually watching anime. It
Oh.
took me, yeah, it took me a little bit to realize. Like, I think I only watched it because my friends really like watching it. Like they, like, cause like I like at the time I'm like really quiet and stuff, but I really still want to make friends. So I watch all these animes with them. But like, I really noticed I do not like Japanese anime. I do not like it when I hear them talk. But I like reading it. So like instead of watching it, I'll read the manga instead. And like because there's more content and there's more stuff out of it that I don't get from the anime. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll read the anime, but I won't watch it. But like I've recently started watching some animes, but I still don't watch it too often because like it's still like I just really don't like it. Like there are only times where like in a blue moon I will like I think in the last ever since I graduated, the last 10 years, I think I only watched like 2 animes. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I only watched it because I ran out of things on Netflix to watch
Okay, let's do
and YouTube.
top five of what you read instead of like specific anime.
There was this one manga I really enjoyed reading for a really long time. It's called Tower of God, but it's a webtoon. And like, I love it. And, but the problem is, like, it has, at the time, it had like 400 and something chapters. And I read it all in like 3 days. So when it started updating more, and I think it has like 500 or 600 chapters again, um, like I just ran out of things to do. So like I lost track of where it is. So I started rereading it. But I was just like, oh, it's kind of boring. But there was like Power of God, Kingdom. Oh, there's one where it's like, oh, I forgot what it's called. I have a list.
Nice.
Um, cheating men must die. Like, what is it? Marlon likes Lawrence too much, and oh, what's that one? I became the ugly lady. But these are all webtoons. Like, I
Mhm.
have not seen
That's okay.
like a black and white manga in a long time, unless it's in my room, and I have the collection. Like, I have a Beauty Pop, and I forgot what this cooking one's called, but I really liked Beauty Pop at the time. But yeah, but top shows, top 5 shows. So far, I really like Squid Game, but that's only because it's current. And the one I'm watching, Sweet Home, um, they kind of go off trail at this point where I really like to watch How I Met Your Mother, as corny as that is, and Friends because they're pretty similar to each other. And like, I don't really watch that many shows.
Mhm.
Oh, and Lucifer, I really like to watch Lucifer, but I think the new season that came out, it's kind of dragging the story on too long, so I haven't actually finished watching that at all. And I usually binge through Lucifer, but I think because it's dragging the whole thing out, I'm just like, oh, it's kind of boring. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
where I stand with top 5. Yeah,
Nice. I'm actually still watching that. The last season.
that's fair. I think I'm at episode 3 and I stopped there because I
Oh
was just like,
dang.
it's really dragging out to the point where I'm just like, it's a little boring.
All right. Here we go. Let's talk about the relationships and heartbreak if there's any of like what you've been through. Chronological order, you could talk about whatever you want.
Uh, yes. So when I was in elementary school, I dated like 2 guys. I was like 12, 12, 13.
Mhm.
So they were the same age as me, and it's nothing creepy. It's nothing like he's like 20 or something and dating a 12-year-old. I don't think I had to explain that. Anyways, the first guy I dated was because like as kids you play truth or dare, especially
Mhm.
like during my age where there is no internet and stuff. There's only like a few games you could play, and it's like dolls and horses or like robots and stuff like that. And the most popular game was Truth or Dare. And most of the time, people knew I would pick Dare, and I would do it. Like I would do a lot of things. Like I think I remember one person saying like, "Go flash the next car that like drives by," because it's the countryside. Like I would wait there, wait for a car to flash them, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that was exciting. It was great." It's like nobody really cares. And I was just like, when I think about it, like I did a lot of crazy things. Like somebody asked me, like they dared me to like stand up and pee or drink out of the toilet bowl, and I did all these crazy things. It was weird. And one of the dares was just like, I dare you to go ask out that guy and see if he says yes or no.
Mhm.
So I asked out the guy, and he said yes. And then I was just like, oh, I have a boyfriend.
Oh god.
And like it was a sweet relationship, but like because it's like our first relationship. Like he didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to do. We held hands. Like sometimes I would sleep on his chest vest, like because he was wearing a vest and his vest was really soft, so I would lay on him, put my head on him. That's it. And yeah, and then later, uh, I was just like, I don't think I like you. So like let's break up. And he was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So we broke up. And then like I think about like 2 weeks later he dated one of my best friends. And I was just like, oh that's fine, like whatever. Like at least he's happy, right? Like he's with my friend that is apparently super pretty and can get any guy that she wants. And because like I think I remember at the time she had like she had boys coming to her like in a flock. They would be like, "Oh my god, I like you. Let's date." Like it wasn't a surprise in my head that my ex-boyfriend would want to date her, and I was just like, "Okay, whatever. I didn't care. I just let him go." And so like, and then after that, I had a few crushes, and like I tried to ask them out because I'm pretty ballsy when I'm in elementary school. And it didn't it like some of them like most of them didn't said no and stuff like that. And I'd be like, oh well, move on, that's life. And I just keep go doing me. And then like sometimes I would hear things where they were insulting me and going like, oh, like she's not pretty enough for me to date and stuff. Like she's too tall and stuff, and she's too lanky, and she's like taller than me and I'm too short for her and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. That's not my issue. That's not my fault. And um and then the next guy I dated, he actually rejected me first. Like I asked him out, I was just like, "Hey, I like you. Do you want to go out?" And he like instantly said no. But like obviously like I still had the feelings. But like I was just like, "Oh, well, okay, that's fine. I'll move on." And
Mm-hmm.
so like I think about like a week and a half went by, and I think he started to really notice me because I admit my feelings to him. He asked me out, or he asked his friend to ask me out, and then I was just like, "Oh yeah, sure, okay, yeah, let's date." But like the weird thing was like he was like my actual first love and boyfriend. Like he was so sweet. It was cute. Like when we went on a camp trip, like as a class all together, he like he wanted me to sit in his lap and stuff, and he held my hand and everything. And, like, I remember the first kiss with him, cause like, he was my first kiss. Uh, like, like, he had a really strict family. Like, every day after school, he had to leave class and go to the parking lot and get picked up by his dad. Like, there is no detour. Like, if he does a detour, his dad will know, and he'll be like, "Why were you so late? Why were you, like, 5 minutes late?" And stuff like that. And so there was, like, one day I would wait for him after class, and like I would wait in this little area where it's like a little cubby area like behind the school. Like I would wait for him, and he was like, "Okay, I can spare you like 2 minutes." And then, so we were talking, and we're like, like, cause like we weren't sure what to do. We're elementary school kids. I was like, I held his hand the first time, and then the next day, like we would talk, and we were just like, "Should we kiss?" It's like, "Yeah, sure, we should kiss." When we kissed, like we didn't do like tongue action or anything when we like met lips and stuff. He had just finished eating a Kit Kat bar that was like a limited flavor edition that was like orange, and um like I could taste it through the kiss, and then like I remember I was like so flushed red and everything, and he was like, "Okay, I gotta go," and then he left, and I'm not sure, but I swear I could tell that he was really flushed red as me, and then I was just like, I'd sit there and I'd be like, "What had happened?" I'm like, "I don't know," and then I would just crouch down and I'd be like, "What's going on?" So embarrassed, shy. He does the most unexpected thing, and this is like the first love, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. It was, and yeah, he was like the first love. Um, but we broke up maybe about like 2 years later because like he still lived in the countryside, but I ended up moving to the city,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like at the time there's no such thing as Skype or whatever, and like the only way I could make contact with him is if I pick up a phone and call him. But like I couldn't call him either because his family's like really strict, like I said. So if he heard a girl's voice on the end asking for him, he'd be like, "Who are you? What are you to my son?" And then I'd be like, "Oop." So so I'd be like, I would have to call to ask for his sister and be like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm calling for like Jenny, yeah." And he'd be like, oh, "Okay, you give me 1 minute, I go get Jenny." And then he would pick up, and like Jenny would pick up, and then we would patch through. And I was just like, "Look, um, I think it's a good idea that we break up because like the long distance is like too much and stuff, and like I don't think it's gonna work out because like you live so far away and I live over here." And he was like, he agreed with me. So we broke up. And I never saw him again until I was like 22 or something, like 22, 23. I bumped into him by accident at a superstore and I saw him and everything. And I was just like, oh, hey, I was like, Kevin? And he was like, Nee, and we were chit-chatting and we talked about the old memories and he was telling me when we broke up, me and him went through like a similar phase where for like a few years we didn't stop thinking about each other and we just wrote like a bunch of journal entries to each other, like saying like how much we missed each other and stuff like that. And it was really sweet, but like we just like in the end we're just like the past is a past. So like maybe we can be friends again, but probably not. Like if it happens, it happens, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So we we still like kind of talk still, but not really. Um he doesn't want to talk, so I don't want to push him into it. And like I'm open to talking to him again, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going through something, so it's just like that's fine. Like it was nice catching up with you. It was great. Like if you want to talk, you know you can always talk to me. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was first love.
Oh,
Um,
oh, there was a question. How tall are you?
like now or like back then?
Back then and now, I guess.
um, Now I swear I'm 5'5", but when I met up with some of my friends, they told me I'm 5'7". So like I didn't know I was
The
like
difference.
cause the way I measured my height was like you know those convenient store doors. There's like the little tape and it tells you like the height.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only measure with that. I never actually like asked somebody like, hey, can you like physically measure me? And it's not like in here in Canada they care about your like weight and stuff like that, like in Japan where they would measure everything. So, like, for a very long time, I told everybody I'm 5'5", but I'm actually like 5'7", apparently, that my friends tell me. And back then, I think I went through a growth spurt, so I was like you can imagine, like most of the boys were like 4 foot something, and I was like taller than them by like this much or something, like a
Mm-hmm.
whole head foot or something. And yeah, that's why like some of them were like, "Oh man, she's so tall," but like I know there's this one girl in my elementary at the time. She was like 6 foot. She was like legit tall. Like you had to look up to her. And I was like, oh my god. But yeah.
Uh, let's see. Kaylana said, "Wait, are you taller than me?" That's your friend, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. We took pictures and stuff together.
When I saw you.
Yeah, we met up recently. She and her mom drove down here from where they live,
Mm-hmm.
and we, we went and did like a bunch of stupid stuff together. We had a lot of fun. I miss her sometimes, but I don't want to admit to her, you know, because then she'll think I care.
Oh,
No, I'm just joking. Just joking.
okay.
Um,
You could continue your story.
I think I am a little bit taller than Kalana, but I don't know. Like I know I'm like the same height as Dylan, is all I can tell Kalana. So however tall Kalana or Dylan is the same height as I am with her. But yeah. So that's if I'm not wearing heels too. Okay. um. So continuing. So that was first love. Second boyfriend. Uh, in high school, I only dated two guys too. I dated a guy named Sean. Um, we started dating because like at the time I was going to anime conventions and he was there, and I don't know, like one thing led to another, and we were like, okay, we're girlfriend and boyfriend, and so we started dating and stuff. But then he ended up cheating on me with another girl that he was kind of thinking about dating too at the time. And I think I was in China or something at the time, and he slept with her and everything. And I was really heartbroken. And so I was like, we should break up. And so like he ended up dating that chick that he cheated on me with for a bit. And then when she wasn't putting out or something, he came back to me. And, like at this point, like I don't really know who I am at that point. So like I agreed to start dating him again. And I think about like 3 months of me taking him back, I met somebody else and I dumped him. I said, like, I was so conflicted. Like, I was just staying up all night, those nights in those 3 months crying. I didn't understand why I was crying. And like, sometimes he would wake up, because like, sometimes he would, sometimes he would, like, come over, like, after he woke up and be like, what's wrong? And I, like, push him away and stuff. And I'd be like, get out of here. I don't want you to, like, touch me or anything. I don't want you to be here. And I got like really defensive and mad at him. And I realized it wasn't working out because like I couldn't trust him again because he had cheated on me before. So so we end up like I remember he came to one of my band concerts and I said, let's break up. Like this isn't gonna work out at all. Like and I was crying the whole time. Like I felt so bad like breaking up with him after accepting to be his girlfriend again. Or accepting him to be my boyfriend again. And he said, it's not your fault. Like, it's my fault. I shouldn't have done that to you, etc. And blah, blah, blah. And then I started dating this other guy who, in a really messed up way again, I met at an arcade. And we dated for years. Like, I dated him for like a good, I think 4 years. And like, honestly, like it should have ended way before like the 4th year or the 5th year or whatever we were dating for. Like it should have ended like the first 2 years or something. Because like I kept dating him because like I kept thinking like I wouldn't do any better than him. Like he's as good as it gets. Like I was in a really bad place during that time. And I was just like I put myself in the position where I'm just like telling myself like he's the best I'm ever gonna get. And like there's nothing better out there for me. So like why would I break up with him? Like there's nobody out there that would actually love me for who I am and for all the baggage I carry and all the emotional trauma that I've gone through and all that. And then I don't know, like one day when I was in university, I just woke up and I said, why am I dating this guy? So I broke up with him. And then like he still tried to cling on to me and he tried to call me a couple times to ask me to get back together with him and stuff, but I blocked him off like Facebook. I blocked his number. I told him like don't contact me again, like this isn't gonna work out. Like you like I had known too in the 4 years that we were dating that he was cheating on me with another girl in our group. But I let it go and I just turned a blind eye thinking like this is as good as it gets, right? And I was like, never again, never gonna do that again. And so yeah, so then yeah, and so that ended. I blocked him. Um then I started at that time, I started streaming on Twitch and like just hopping to random channels and stuff. And like I was pretty like introverted if I'm in real life, but I was really extroverted in front of the screen and stuff. So it was weird. Like in my head, I was like, maybe I just need like the confidence to like be really out there.
Yeah.
And so like I started talking more in this one community, and there's this guy called Venerak, and like me and him started talking more. And then I don't know how it happened, but I think I just really liked him, so I told him like, "Hey, I really like you, and I want to ask you out. Like, will you date me?" And like the crazy thing was like he lived in California. Like he lived like way out there in California, near Los Angeles, while I lived in Canada here in PC. And so he was like, it was really cute, but he was like, "Oh my god, like I'm so glad I met you," because I was thinking about asking you the same thing. Because at that point we had been talking for like 2 weeks straight, and we started going out. And like I remember some of our friends mutually on Twitch that was just like, "Oh, like how are you guys gonna like do it or whatever, and like how are you guys gonna kiss and whatnot." And like, isn't like loving him from far away hard? No, like I remember I would say really cheesy things, and I still believe it sometimes, but after a lot of the relationships, I was just like, I would say something like, "Oh, love means like no distance mean that love can't happen. Like love can conquer all." I would say corny things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of embarrassing. Oh, and like I dated him for like 2 or 3 years, and I actually went and met up with him in California. As crazy that sounds. And we did all yeah, it was like I think he was honestly like my second love.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really cherished and loved him and stuff. And but like the thing is he was I think at that time he was graduating from his school in digital arts and stuff. So he started slowly like just distancing himself from me. And like I'm not the person to really put pressure on like, hey, why don't you call me, or like, hey, why don't you talk and stuff like that. So I kind of let it happen too, and I could have probably done it better. But when we finally went one day, he said he just wanted to talk, and he said, "Look, I don't think this is gonna work out. I think we should break up because I don't have time for a relationship with you or with anybody right now at this moment." And I was really heartbroken because like I was thinking like this guy and me are gonna be together forever. Like I was like 21. Yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
like 21, and I was like thinking like this is like my forever guy. Like I can't see myself with anybody else, and like I was heartbroken. Like I did not take it really that well, because especially it was like really close to my birthday. Like I think it was like a month away, and like when he didn't say anything, I flipped out, freaked out, and then I said like you don't care about me, blah blah blah, and like and then that's like he kind of he blocked me and stuff, and like I don't blame him now for it. Like I kind of want like there are some days where I want to message him and go like, hey, I'm sorry for like my past self for being so mature. I like at the time I couldn't take it that well, like especially your excuse of telling me like you didn't have time to date me, and like I hear from other people like if you had the like you'll make the time if you want to make that time. Like I just couldn't understand it all at the time. So like, but like I don't say anything to him
Mm-hmm.
because like if he's happy now, that's all that matters. And if not talking to me is his happiness, then let's just leave it there. And so I didn't I didn't like I didn't date. Like okay, basically when I broke up with him until now, I haven't dated.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this one guy I had a crush on for like the 7 years I was in it. I've had a crush on him for like 5 years because I think this was like kind of like to me my high school crush that I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to get to together. And we like he kept like the thing is when I started liking this next dude, and I call him like my ex because like I call him my ex crush because it was serious because I had liked him for so long. I liked him for 5 years. He he liked me too, is what he told me, and he promised me all these things, like, he said, "I will introduce you to my family, I'll introduce you to my sister and my brother, my mom and my dad, like, I promise I'll take you out on these dates, I promise to, like, only like you," and stuff like that, and, like, he kept promising and telling me all these things for, like, 5 years, and I believed it. And then he would like he would like do this hot and cold thing where he's just like, "Oh, I'm really into you," and next thing he'd be like, "Oh, like who are you again? Like why are you here?" And like honestly, I'm kind of like the hopeless romantic type of person, so I just kept believing in everything he told me, and then I would like go home and cry some days where like I think he doesn't like me, and then like the next day I'd be fine because he would be talking to me, and then the next day I'd be crying again because he didn't want to talk to me, and like that was a really messy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up he ended up confessing his feelings to another girl instead of me, who was married by the way. And I was just like, that's where I drew the line, where I'm just like, no more. Don't talk to this dude anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't want me. And he's willing to go to another girl who's married instead of talking to me, who is single, and breaking all these moral things that I cannot believe. And yeah. And so, yeah, I have not actually officially called anyone my boyfriend or dated. Okay, I dated during that time, but like not officially called anyone my boyfriend for the last 7 years because
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I can't settle for anything less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, moving on. What are your current goals and aspirations?
Um, right now, I think my current goal is just to finish my graduate. Like before, it was just to finish my BA, but now it's like finish my graduate. And like the like what I really had inspired in the beginning was I just really want to be in the field of area that deals with like mental health and substance use.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was such a big part of my life, especially because like I had gone through depression myself, and like sometimes I would be in an area where my friends are also themselves going through something, and I didn't know how to help them, and I really just wanted to be there and help them. And like I just didn't know what to say or do, cuz like sometimes they'd be like telling me things that are really private that I'm pretty sure they wouldn't tell anybody else, and I'd be like, there, it's okay. Like it'll get better. It made me feel so shitty that I couldn't help my friend, and be like just there to listen to them rather than telling them it's okay. And like I don't know, like I guess like in my life what I really want to do is just, instead of just being that person that's there and saying like, "Hey, it's okay," so like I can feel better and like move on and not like really listen to them. I want to actually be there and listen to my friend and be like, "Hey, yeah, I hear you. Like, do you want, like, what do you want to do? Like, want to just talk about it, or like, do you want some resources I can help you find, and like, or do you want to like, what is it that you're aiming for? Like, because I think the problem that I see in a lot of things, that when people break down is that nobody really listens to them. It's kind of like people just say like, "Hey, yeah, that's cool. I hear you." But like, let's go do something. Let's go drink. Let's go play a video game. And like you'll forget all about your worries, like no problem. Like no, sometimes you just have to like just really sit there and listen to them. That's all you have to really do. And I think that's just what I want to do like with my life. Just really hear people say what they want. Oh, my friend told me to stay hydrated. But yeah. Honestly, like I think at this point in my life, I just want to hear people. Like before I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, cuz like it was just goals my mom had given me. Like she's like, "Oh, I want you to get 9 to 5 job. You go do that."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Like I don't have any actual goals I want to do in life. But now that I've lived my life, okay, I haven't lived it all, but like I've lived most of my life. I think I just like hearing other people's story, which is why I don't technically talk about myself a lot or at all, unless like some people ask me. Like I
Yeah.
won't, like you can imagine, like if I'm in a group of 5 people and one person's really loud, I'll just let them talk.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in a group of 5 people and nobody talks, I'll talk if I have to, but like after a while, people warm out. So then I don't have to talk anymore. Then I can hear their stories, and then I just really like hearing other people's stories and stuff.
I see. How about for your travels and adventures? Where have you been to and where do you want to go?
travels and adventures. Hmm. So when I was 16, yeah, when I was 16, I went to China with one of my high school friends. And mind this, I know I'm half Chinese and I'm half Vietnamese. I do not speak a lick of Vietnamese or Chinese. Like I can understand it. So like if my mom talks to me in Vietnamese or Cantonese, I can understand it. But if it's Mandarin, it's like it's there, but not really. Cause like I only started learning how to understand Mandarin in high school. Cause like a lot like pretty much all everybody knew how to speak Mandarin in my high school. So I picked up how to like some small phrases.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to China, everybody speak Mandarin there. So like I went with my friend to China and like I think I cried the whole time because I was homesick. And I didn't think it was gonna be that bad of a toll. But it was. And I was like I was crying the whole time. And what I heard from my friend, Ran, she had told me, she had told me that the girl that I went with on the trip was complaining the whole time, how I was crying the whole time on the trip. And like I wouldn't stop crying and I was just so negative the whole time. And my friend was just like, you know, you have to understand, like, this isn't her home. Like, her home, she lived basically always in Canada. And she's going all the way to China. And she's crying, obviously, because she's homesick. Like, she has nobody to talk to there except for you. And she can't tell you everything. And I was just like, wow, I'm just like, Ran, so understanding. And I think that's, and yeah, like, I had a miserable time in China. Or okay, it wasn't miserable. Like not the whole trip was miserable. It was actually not that bad. There's only like I would cry at night because like you know I'm sad I don't get to see my mom and my friends every day. But like I still had not a bad time because I learned how to like I learned how to sew and stuff there. I learned badminton. Okay, I didn't learn badminton, but I had played badminton there. Um, Everything was really cheap, so I got to eat a lot. Especially eating. I really like eating there. There was congee in the morning, but like it was crazy in my head to eat congee in the morning in China, especially when it was like God knows how hot it was outside that day. But I went to China. I had gone to San Diego or San Francisco too. Like there are times where we got off that train in my the band trip. Um, I went to Los Angeles to meet my boyfriend at the time. Uh, like I went to Toronto to see my cousins and stuff. And when I've gone twice, but the last time I went, it was like Pride Week. So that whole week, I was just out partying, drinking, and like going down the street, taking like pictures of myself with half naked dudes going stuff like and like and then I would be like doing like fake pec cases or like fake like you know like our lips would be to look like it meats or not really meats. And then like I remember I let this one dude like I can't believe I did this. I let this one dude take a picture on his Instagram that was a boomerang. Like and I was doing a twerk while he grabbed my breast. I was just like, oh my god. I was like, why did I do that? And my cousins saw it and they're just like, Nee, why did you do that? I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I was just drunk. And they're like, Nee, stop doing that. And then like, I saw so many things during that trip and it was great. It was fun. Like, I loved it. Like, there was dudes with like leather mask face dog things, and then there's dudes with like Captain American hat that was super topless, and I was like taking these pics, going like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like nobody's ever gonna remember this, okay? Like when I go on a trip, it's crazy because like I have the mentality of thinking when I go on a trip, like, hey, I can do whatever I want, and nobody's gonna give a shit about it, and I can get away with it. And nobody will say anything. Nobody will remember this crazy Asian chick. Nobody will do like as long as it's not like illegal, right? Like I'll do it. And like I have a picture where I'm doing this leg thing with the officer. He's holding my leg while I'm holding on to him, and he's like a Toronto police officer. And I asked my cousin to take a picture, and I'm like, "Hey, can you take a picture with me, like holding my leg?" And he was just like, yeah, sure." And I was just like doing this pose, dude. And like my cousin was just laughing the whole time. She's like, "I love that one picture that you have of the police officer because his face is just like utter shock. Like, why is this Asian chick holding on to me while like I'm holding her leg?" And there's like pictures where I was like in a ball pit or something at that Pride week. Like, I don't even know why there was a ball pit there. Like, like who am I to complain, right? And like, oh my god, like some of the trips that are still in Canada, like I go crazy
Mhm.
and like I just go have fun. And I think the other trip I had was to the Philippines, where I went for like a whole month. And like I went with one of my other friends, and she didn't tell me at the time that she had like a bipolar disorder, and she had like a one of those her manic episodes, and like we split ways at that time. But like even then, during that time, I had like the best time of my life hanging out with all these uh these little kids. Like I go swimming in like those clear water places. I don't remember what the places are called anymore, but when I went to the Philippines, it was so fun. Because all I really remember is like I couldn't really speak Filipino without my friend, but even then, like people thought I was mute. Because like if like a food stall guy comes by, like you can just ask him for food, right? But I would just point because I didn't know what the names were. And then he would be like, "Oh, okay," like she's mute. So like I would point at things and be like, "I want that," or "I want that." And if I wanted to drink, I'd be like that, like I motion stuff, right? And because when you order food there, you don't pay until you finish eating. So I would just keep eating until I'm full, and then I say like like I would just rub my tummy, and then I'd be like, "How much money?" like this, and then he'd be like telling me like with his hands how much money, and then I'd be like, "Oh, okay." So I would like grab it and give him the money. He would give me the change, and because like I look really Asian or like Filipino, they didn't charge overcharge me. So when I said thank you, like in a really clear English way, I love their faces. They're like, "What the she knows English and so well." Like I thought she was mute this whole time. Like so yeah, like on the trip to the Philippines, even though it kind of like it had some rough patches, like I still had a blast. Like just
Mhm.
I think most of my trips is just eating, to be honest, just doing crazy things.
It's not bad. Nice. All right, let's talk about social media. What are you currently using aside from Twitch?
Um, so I have like pretty much most of the things. Like I have a Snapchat, an Instagram, a Facebook, and a Twitter. But okay, I made the Twitter maybe like 2 months ago
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to keep sharing all my game stuff on it. Because I didn't want to keep sharing. Okay, I didn't want to keep sharing all my game. Like some games are like, "Hey, share this on your social media," and I don't want to share it on my Facebook because I don't want people from my Facebook friends list to be like, "Hey, I play that game too. Let's play together." Because there's some friends on my Facebook that um they're not exactly like the best influence, and like I didn't want to like get in contact with them again. Like maybe make small chit chat with them. I don't mind, but there's also like, cause like I've had my Facebook account since I was like
Mm-hmm.
13 or 14, and I don't want to go through the effort of like finding out like which friends I want to delete or like block or something and not have to talk to again. So like I just don't like it when people know what I'm doing, like I said. So I don't typically share anything on my Facebook, but I have one. So I made a Twitter account just for the sole purpose of sharing all this stuff so I could get bonus stuff in games. onto my Twitter. And then I have an Instagram, but I don't usually post or do anything on it. And I don't even check the chat sometimes either.
Mhm.
And my friend understands, but he still spams me like 13 random stuff. And like I would look at it. And I have a Snapchat, but I don't use that either. So like most of my social media, like I think the only thing I mainly use is my Facebook and Messenger on it because I do talk to one of my classmates on Messenger a lot. We have each
Mhm.
other's phone numbers, but most of the time when we first started talking was on Messenger. So we just stick to that. And like I just use Facebook to watch videos now and that's it.
Mhm. Okay, so we're gonna start talking about Twitch, but before that, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Okay. I guess I should too.
Okay, we'll be
I'll be
back,
back then.
guys. Cornelius the Fifth. I see that you're still here. Appreciate you. Um, Eunice be misspelling stuff, but we don't talk about that.
I went back in the closet. Oh, that's the cat. He's gone. Cult. Yolina. Hashtag cancel Wilson.
Okay, everything good?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading your chat.
All right, let's talk about Twitch. So, talk about how you got into it and like what categories are you streaming right now?
Oh, okay. Like honestly, I don't even remember how I got into Twitch because this account was made like when I was like 19 or something or 18. And like I think at the time I was like I was really into watching League of Legends streamers. So I
Mhm.
made an account so I could chat with some League of Legends streamers I would watch. And like I love Dyrus and Skara and Phantom Lord. Oh my god, Phantom Lord! I love the Phantom Lord because he would just yell all the time. I think Phantom Lord's canceled now because he did something. But like I would watch like I am Cutie Pie or like I am Cutie Pie or whatever how you say his name. Like it was like a big thing back then, and I think I made the account so I could talk to my favorite streamers, and then I just from there I was just like, oh yeah, like why not? Let me stream too. I mean, everybody else is streaming their League games. Why can't I? So I would stream my like ARAM games, and I would just play like I would just play like League most of the time during that time, but I would play with my friends and stuff. And so so yeah, like I just played League at the time, and like sometimes I would play some indie games. But like now that I have like my brother gave me his old computer and it's like ancient. It's like 8 or 10 years old, and it's still running, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now, like, I can actually, like, stream because, like, I couldn't stream on anything else because, like, most of the time I would have laptops, but they would be for school, so they would, like, kerfuzzled out and die. So, like, for years I didn't stream. Like, now I just stream, like, sometimes I just stream my homework. So, like, I'll just stream, like, what I'm doing for homework and, like, if you want, you, like, listen to, like, mental health stuff, but if you don't want to, like, you don't have to. Uh, Most of the times I just stream Genshin Impact because, like, I'm addicted to it, and I don't know why I'm so addicted to it. It's been, like, a year, but I stream that, and occasionally I'll just stream random indie games, mostly like, I'll play, like, really weird games, like, I earlier I was playing, like, some horror games because I wanted to scare myself. Yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to scare myself, so I remembered I downloaded some indie games that were horror games that were free, so I was just like, "Oh, I'll play these look like fun." And they were not that bad. One of them was really boring, one of them was fun. Um, I have a bunch of horror games downloaded that I'm just like, "I'm gonna play them one day." But I haven't gotten the chance to because I just really like Genshin too much. Sometimes I'll stream Minecraft, but it's really boring because I just mine. And I'm just like, I don't feel like that's a game that I'll stream. But everything else, like, I'll play other games, but I won't stream them.
Yeah. How about for your current schedule?
Currently, I'm usually only streaming like Mondays and Tuesdays in the morning
Mm-hmm.
because there's like no other time I can do it. And like, there are days where I'll take a day off because like it's either like I'm just not in the mood, but
Mm-hmm.
like I've been aiming to stream like Monday and Tuesdays morning because those are the only time I have. Because like later the other days, like I have an overnight on Wednesdays, and like on Thursdays I have classes. Tuesdays I have classes too, but at least like I can sleep properly. Like Fridays I work, weekends I work.
Yeah.
Mondays are usually my only days off. Yeah, so like I only have 2 days. And then it might change, but I don't know when. Maybe in a couple months.
Do you have any favorite memories or like a particular favorite stream that you've had so far?
Favorite memories or stream? Um, I don't know. Like I think I like them all because I can just talk to people sometimes. Like most of the time, like I just like it when I can talk to somebody. Like there's no pressure for them to like I don't care if they follow or not. Like just having a small chit chat's nice sometimes. And like or like they don't have to like be the Discord call with me or something. If they just want to type, I'm just like, oh listen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the last not the last stream, but like I think maybe last week I had a really nice conversation with this guy who was asking me about like what I think about uh society in Canada and like how is that different from living in Vietnam and stuff like that. And it was a nice chat. Like it was just him and me basically talking most of the time. And my friend Layla just sitting there like reading slash listening to me talk to him. But like honestly, like any stream that I can have like a deep conversation with somebody
Mm-hmm.
is probably my most memorable ones.
Nice. How about on the flip side? Have you ever dealt with any trolls or hate? And if so, how did you handle the situation?
Um, I mean, in real life, I deal with it too. The best way I do it is just like, I just ignore it. Because my brother taught me how to ignore really well. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a pest to him. And so he ignores me pretty much all the time. So I learned from him. So whenever I see something, I'm just like, oh, that's nice. That's wonderful. Like, that's a wonderful point of view. I'm just like, but yeah, like, go ahead, spam my chat if you want. I don't care with that. Nobody's here but you and me. Like, who are you trying to make a point to, me or you?
Mm-hmm.
And like, sometimes I'll time them out if it's like a inappropriate link or something. Or, but like, honestly, um dealing with trolls or something like that, like I just mostly just ignore it because there's always gonna be like you can't have everything always be great. You can't always be at a high. There's always gonna be a negative part of life too. And so if that's how it is, like it's just more like how am I gonna work through it? That's gonna make me feel better about myself rather than worrying about this troll guy because he's obviously gone through something that he wants to go around and say like really hateful things. Like, am I gonna take it? Probably, yeah, I'll take it, but I'll probably just move on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
words and like, yeah, that's just I just mostly just ignore it.
How would you say um, streaming has changed you as a person?
I that I actually don't know. I don't think it's really changed me much as a person. sometimes, sometimes I think it's more like the life experience that I get when I get to talk to people. It's changed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think before when I was streaming, I never really heard or read what somebody says or something. But now it's more like really take the time. Like I've noticed a change from like when I first started streaming versus now, where I actually really take the time to read or listen to somebody rather than when I was like younger back then, where I did not really hear them and I did not really read their comments and like sometimes I'm still a little bit sassy towards some of my like viewers, but like some of them have been there for a really long time where they know me and I can be sassy, but other times like if it's a serious thing, I'll really listen to them if they really want that. And I'm just like, if you don't want this to be streamed or something, you can just DM me or something instead.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I know some people want to be private to their life, so I rather like if you want to tell me something serious, just like throw me a Discord or a Messenger or something, and I'll read it and I'll tell you what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you consider as your day ones since you started streaming?
What's that mean? Day ones? Sorry.
Just like those who've been around since the beginning.
Um, they're like they're not here in this chat because I don't actually get to talk to them often
Mm-hmm.
as I would. Because like when I first started streaming, there's this one person, one of my viewers. I love him. He just like he's kind of like really quiet in his own way too, but he's been talking more lately because of I just talk. I just do a just chatting thing, and now he tells me more about himself. But like this one viewer I like name People Are Tasty. He comes in, he just lurks in my channel like for a really long time sometimes too, and I just don't know it. And when he finally says something, I'm like, "Hey, how are you? Like, how's life and stuff?" And he's been telling me more about himself. Like, he told me something about him stubbing his toe on his Xbox, and I never knew that about him. And I was just like, "Wait, when did you do this? Like, did you break it or something?" And he was telling me how he broke his toe doing that, and I was just like, "Oh my god." Um, and I had another streamer named like I don't remember his username. It's like XX Bill or something like that. Um, he's been there since like almost day one too, and he still like pops by my stream once in a while to watch me get scared. If I put the up stream title that says like uh horror games all day, I don't know what to do with my life or something like that. And he'll come in and he'll be like, "Ooh, scary!" And, like he'll message me once in a while privately to ask me about life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of my other friends, Arcas, he like I like he sometimes drop by, but I know he hasn't really been into going on Twitch that much because he wants to do stuff in real life now. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, I respect that. But he still texts me and stuff once in a while on Discord. And it's just like, hey, what's up? Like, I don't know what to do. But my current viewer, I think I really appreciate like some of the people that come in. Like there's a lot. Like I appreciate pretty much everybody that comes in to watch me because I'm pretty boring, I feel like. But they like to hear my really random rants of like life, or they like to watch me scream at Genshin and slam my table and walk away or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Nice. Okay, coming down to the final random questions. What would you consider as your biggest pet peeve?
like what annoys me?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hmm. I don't know. I feel like I got rid of most of them. Like, I remember I used to be really annoyed when people would make me repeat myself, or when people would have to like, when people ask me dumb questions. But like, because like I work in the field of being a support worker, I've become more understanding towards that. So like, I think one of my pet peeves might be oh, I don't know, like sometimes it takes a lot to get me mad about like a specific thing. Like games, yeah, I get mad because like in the games I'm just like this game is trash because like mechanics sucks. I hate it. Like it's not even anything bad. I think I'm just getting mad because like I'm just not good enough in the game to prevent the mechanics from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my fingers are just too fat and can't move fast enough because I'm old. That's what I think. But I just want to blame the game. Um, but I guess like maybe maybe one of my pet peeves is like if somebody tries to force me into doing something after I've clearly said no.
Okay.
Like yeah. I think maybe that's one of my pet peeves. I don't like that too much.
How about your greatest fear?
Greatest fear. Greatest fear. Um I don't know. Like I know before I was afraid of being alone forever. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm really scared of being abandoned by friends and stuff. I think that's one of my fears. Like I've sometimes I'll make new friends and I'll get worried if I say something and they'll just leave me because I said something wrong or something and they just don't want to tell me because like not everybody's really straightforward, right? They'll just simmer there and then like one day they'll just pick up and go and they won't say anything. And like it'll be really sad for me and I hate that. They'll leave, but like I like sometimes I worry about like what I say, I think that they'll leave and I just won't know it.
Yeah. What would you say is your greatest trait or skill?
Trait or skill?
Mm-hmm.
Um hmm. I make really bad jokes. Like I know a lot of really bad pickup lines because whenever I got stressed from school, instead of smoking or drinking, because I had that really bad habit for a while, I started learning pickup lines. um, so like I think I'm funny. And sometimes I'll make really bad, inappropriate jokes too. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'll like I I don't know, honestly. Like I just think I'm funny. But it's mostly just me laughing at my own jokes.
It's okay. Solid answer. Let's do greatest accomplishment in life and also greatest failure slash regret.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I think my greatest accomplishment at this point, for me personally, okay, is even finishing something in school, like fully finishing it. Like rather than me cutting halfway out, like my accounting diploma,
Mm-hmm.
I actually finished getting my bachelor's in psychology that was like specialized in like pre-counseling. Like I kind of messed it up, but like I'm just so happy with myself that I actually finished it and I accomplished something, and like I didn't quit halfway or something like that, because like most of the time if something got too tough I would just quit and then I would just leave, and I'd be like, oh, this is too hard, I'm leaving, or like, oh, I don't like this, I'd be leaving. And I finally found something I really liked and I finished it and I did something to get there, and like I didn't just waste all this time doing nothing. That's an accomplishment for me. I know it's probably not that much, but it is for me. um, but my greatest regret or failure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I don't know. Like I usually live with the motto of not having a regret or failure, but there's this only one kind of thing I can think about where I didn't mention it, but like when I was younger, uh I was pretty suicidal. So I dated this guy just so I could feel better about myself. And like he was really serious about me. Like he was like really in love with me and stuff. But like I did not love myself. I did not care about myself. Like at that point I was like, well, it was a really bad place. And I just dragged him along with me for the ride just so I could feel better about myself. Like I used his feelings to make myself feel better. And I think that was one of my greatest regret, that I used him like that, because he had genuine feelings for me
Mm-hmm.
and I used him just to feel better. And like I made it a note to myself, like I was just like, I'm the worst. Like I can't believe like I would do that. And he I feel like I regret it because like when I had like used up all his feelings, I tossed him aside basically. And I told him like we can't date, we can't talk anymore. And I told him like go off, have your own life. And um he ended up passing away because like he just couldn't handle it that I didn't feel the same way he did for him. And yeah, and I feel like it's my fault because like I should have been a better person instead of like using him for his feelings and stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, down to the last three questions.
Oh, three.
Mm-hmm. What was your first impression of me?
Huh. Oh, I like okay, I saw you in Jinx's chat and Jinx was telling me like, don't bother him, he's a busy man. And I was just like, what does that mean? And I like to like sometimes I like when I'm talking, like when I see somebody in the chat a lot, I like to like click their names and stuff. So like I end up going to your stream like that, and I was just like, oh, well, I was just like watching your stream, and I was like, he's a really wholesome guy. Like, I actually like this. Like, sometimes I don't like I really hate it when people call me out on stream, but like for some reason I felt really comfortable with you calling me out, and I was just like, I'm like, it's a little weird how you like shouts out everybody, but like at the same time, it doesn't feel too weird, and I just don't understand why. Like I was like, oh, I was like, okay, yeah. I can get with this. This is a nice program. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I
I'm glad.
yeah.
Okay, let's do top five streamers that you're finding yourself watching the most.
Top 5 streamers. I like okay, my list of streamers that I like to watch, because like I like to watch other people play the same games as me. So one of them has been recently somebody called Gunner76 or something like that, and he plays or he plays Eternal Return, and I wanted to get better at the game, but he's not a small time streamer or anything like that. It's just like when I get into something, I want to watch it more so I can get better and understand the mechanics and stuff like that. So I can go, ah, oh, so that you could do that. So I've been watching him a lot. Um, one of the other ones I like to watch is my friend. His name is Ping Wee. He has a great community. I actually started talking more and like getting a little bit more outgoing thanks to them. I feel like I was always like that, but like I feel like they have like a really wholesome community and that I could share and open up with them about stuff. And like I like to hang out in their Discord most of the time to like chit chat and like play random games. Like they play Valorant and stuff with me and I don't play Valorant at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do not know how to shoot. I get worried like they'll yell at me, but they're like really nice about it and they're like, "Ah, you're getting better, CC." And I'm just like, "Ah, thank you." Well, they're really great people. Um like uh honestly, I've been watching your stream a lot more too, but I just don't say anything. I just like lurking, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just like doing the spank thing. But I just, you're just like, see, you just come here to spank me, and I'm just like, yeah, yes, of course. That is
Yeah,
the
it's
new
okay.
lurk.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's kind of nice seeing like all your viewers, just chit chatting, like
Mm-hmm.
being so communicative, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Um, my other favorite streamer that doesn't stream that often is Delina from earlier. It's just he gets busy. So like I like to bother him, but I like to spam his Twitch link everywhere when I get the chance when he's streaming. And then I just like to watch him play some of his games sometimes and I just want to support his stream most of the time too. So I like to watch him stream too. And when like the last person I don't know, like I watch a lot of random people. Uh It's between Scara and Jinx. Like, I sit in Jinx chat too sometimes and I don't say anything either. But when I have the time to bully her, I'll start spending all my points so she does her little heart things more.
Okay. Nice.
Like, me and Kevin are sitting there and he's like, you know what time it is, right? I'm like, I know what time it is. I'm like, wait, what time is it? And he'll do the heart little thing and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm like, spam these little heart things. I'm like, yeah, spam hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I just like to watch Gara because he was like the original reason why I got on Twitch, I think. Because I just like him. I like to watch him stream his random stuff. That was six, but that's
That's
as good
okay.
as it gets. Ah,
All
got one.
right. Last question. So, using your connection, who would you like to see as a future guest on this podcast and why?
I think there's this one streamer I really like to watch for a really long time, but I haven't been able to watch his stream for a really long time because like sometimes he would stream like really random hours and stuff. And like he especially likes to stream like he's in the same time zone as me, but he likes to stream between like midnight to like 8 a.m.
Oh.
And like I need to sleep for work and stuff. And I can't like I would love to stay up and watch him all the time, but like sometimes I can't. But like I'd probably like wanna ask Soju Poppy. I don't he plays Valorant a lot and I think he's a really wholesome guy and he's like really nice and he does the best ara sound and I'm
Wait,
stalking.
you talking about Lucas?
Yeah. I don't know if he's done one yet or not.
Oh, no, no, he has not. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, like I was thinking about asking him, but I thought maybe it would be weird coming from me, especially because I've kind of like dipped out from his streams a lot because like I would really like to see him do it, but I don't know if he wants to talk to like just chatting
Yeah.
or that, and now it's just like, oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, Mocha. Sorry, the cat called me. But yeah, like I was thinking about asking him if he was interested, but Like I said, I get nervous when I ask people stuff sometimes. There are moments where I'm just like, fuck it. And then there's other moments where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. That was it from
Okay.
me. How are you feeling now that it's the end?
Better.
Good.
um,
One of the
oh,
goals. All right. So let me close this out for the YouTube portion at least, and then you could give your final words and thoughts. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 27, featuring me, aka 1412cc. Appreciate it, guys. It's been over 3 hours. Nice. That's really good. Um,
yeah.
Actually, I have one more question I forgot to ask. How'd you come up with your
Okay.
name, 1412cc?
Uh, okay. So, when I made it, I was like, my friend was reading this manga called Detective Conan, and one of the things was like, one of the ways he solved the puzzle was he he figured out something where like the numbers, if you write the numbers in a certain way, where you write like 1412, it spells out kid. So I thought, oh, that's cool. So I was just like, wanted to incorporate that idea into my username. And then it wouldn't let me put in numbers only.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh, okay. So like, what could I put in for letters? And as I was making the username, um, I was just like, what could I put in for letters? And I saw this just chicken box that was just sitting there on the table, and I was like, Cece. So it just says kid churches chicken.
Nah, that was so unexpected, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I put in a cool thing and then I put in the thing that I was staring at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, I get it. You went down.
All right. That's it for the podcast, guys. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much, Nee, for sharing your life story with us. I really appreciate your time. Do you have any final words?
Um, Follow Wilson if you haven't. No, it was nice talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like I get nervous when I talk sometimes, so it was nice just talking out everything. But thanks for everything.
Of course, of course. Thank you. All right. And that's it.